Alex, as always, we have a lot of individual investors on the line. Is there anything you'd like to say before we end the call?
We're doing it. We're doing it. And I'm sure you're enjoying this as much as I am. Let's not talk to analysts about the burden of being right, our burdens of investing in ontology, our burdens of actually looking at the math, the burden of reading what the Rule of 40 is, the burden of being honest about what an enterprise software company is, or the burden of explaining to your friends that you're really happy. Maybe we should just stop talking about it. I'm very happy to have you along for the journey, and you are partners for us. Every Palantirian, we are crushing it. Everyone else who's listening, we are dedicating our company. We have dedicated our company to the service of the West and the United States of America, and we're super proud of the role we play, especially in places we can't talk about. And we love our success in the U.S. and globally. Also, we are doing in the United Kingdom and many other places. Palantir is here to disrupt and make the institutions we partner with the very best in the world, and when it's necessary, to scare our enemies and on occasion kill them. And we hope you're in favor of that. We hope you're enjoying being a partner, and we're really happy and very, very focused on what we're doing. Thank you for your time.
So let me get this straight. Let me see if I'm crazy here.
You look nice today, Bryce.
Thank you very much. Liz is saying that because I'm naked.
No.
I'm doing the podcasting completely new today.
You're wearing a button-down shirt. You look very
I
professional.
don't wear a button-down shirt. I don't wear...
No, sometimes you just wear a sweatshirt over it.
I'm wearing a button-down shirt.
Yeah, but you always do.
Okay.
Let me get this straight. Alex Karp, who's, by the way, hat. You need to wear a hat. You look like shit, Alex.
Yeah, he's got, Trey Young hair.
Alex Karp can go on an earnings call, which I watched the whole thing.
You did?
I mean, it's mostly PowerPoint, but yeah, I watched the whole thing. He looks like a slob, and he can get up there, and he can talk about, our private company is so happy to be able to kill people. Hold on. But then Brace Belden, whose hair is normal, no receding hairline, no bald spot at the top, no weird, crazy, wacky thing going on, Krusty the fucking Clown. I can't sit here and say we should kill people because then I get in trouble. I just think that there's a
And we're a private company.
We are a private company. We're small business owners, backbone of this country.
Mm-hmm.
We're free speech fucking warriors.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't sit here in the office that we have, which, by the way, nicer than their little fucking table.
Yes.
And say we should scare our enemies and kill our enemies. I can't say that.
No, you can't say
we
that.
We should kill our enemies. I can't say that.
Stop saying that.
I'm not saying that. He can say that. He can say we should scare our enemies and we should kill our enemies.
Yes, he is saying that.
He is saying that.
You're repeating what he's saying.
I'm quoting Alex Karp, CEO of Palantir. We should kill our enemies. Yeah. Kill. That's an abbreviate. There's ellipses between those. I'm paraphrasing.
You're just
kill.
No, there's quotations around each of those.
Kill.
And they're three separate quotes of the same quote.
Kill. I can't say kill our enemies, but Alex Karp can.
Yes.
Make it make sense. The whole damn world's gone crazy.
The whole damn world's gone crazy. Hello, everyone. I'm Liz.
My name is Brace. We are joined by
producer Young Chomsky.
And this is the #1 liberal podcast
in the world.
TrueAnon. Hello, everyone.
Hello. And we have heard your voice, by the way, your feedback from the last episode. No more Jews. We're not going to have any more Jewish people in the episode.
But this is a free episode, so they might not have actually heard that episode.
Mm-hmm.
So
we interviewed Eli Wiesel.
Oh my.
Me too.
Because we're not
cancel
stop
culture,
interrupting me.
Because cancel culture is over. Eli Wiesel.
It has been defeated at the ballot box.
Elevator bound Me Too. We're saying it's done. He's like Louis. He's back.
He's like Louis.
Eli Wiesel, I would say, was the Louis of the
Those
camps.
are the kind of metaphors that you can't get anywhere else.
Can't get them anywhere else. But what were you saying?
I don't know.
You were interrupted?
I guess.
Yeah.
Liz interrupted.
But we've heard you loud and clear. No more.
No more.
How you feeling?
Not great.
You look great.
Thank you. I feel a little crazy. I feel a little crazy, a little cuckoo. We're going to go through today, I guess, why. But everything seems bad. I don't know how else to say it. I feel, okay, to our listeners, I want to say this. We got an info hazard here.
Yeah.
Let's put on the little music for the info hazard, which I assume we have now.
I can see you thinking. Yeah, we have it. Just say yes, dude.
Info hazard music, yeah.
Info hazard here. This is going to be a little bit of a black-pilled episode.
Yeah. It is?
I think so.
Interesting.
You don't think so?
No, but I took a couple of blue pills with a serrated thing in the middle and 80 on one side of them before recording, so I'm feeling good.
Okay. I don't know what that one is.
It's
Viagra?
Oxycontin,
Okay.
which Trump signed an executive order to bring back at 11 a.m. this morning. Oxycontin 80s full strength.
No, he did
They
not.
are coming back, and they are going to be much cheaper, 50 cents a milligram. We've lost funding.
The podcast is
We've
over.
this is the last episode of the show.
No, we will fucking talk about USAID in a bit. And we actually will. Even I know I always say that. It's almost like, oh, it's so funny you always say that. But we really will.
We will.
We will. But first, we have to talk about the people who really fund us.
Benjamin Netanyahu came to America this week and, of course, flew in on Sunday. They rolled out the red carpet for him, a la Harvey Weinstein.
Which, by the way, I said this to you. The White House looks crazy right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's all these like golden trophies behind. Did you see this in the clip of Netanyahu and
No.
Trump sitting together? On the mantle of the fireplace were like these like gilded trophies and goblets. And I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, yeah, you're right. What are those?
I don't know.
Are
It
those
looks like
always
a
there?
high school trophy case, but with like chalices. Are those like
They might be
important-
golf trophies, Liz.
Are you kidding?
They might
me?
be golf
I
trophies.
see. They look like the false grails.
They
Yes,
do.
they do. They do.
They
And
would
perhaps,
have false grails.
perhaps they are. Benjamin Netanyahu, the true president of the USA, actually, that's not true. The true president of Philadelphia, came to America. On Monday, he met with Steve Witkoff, who was credited with securing basically an immediate ceasefire in Gaza before Trump even took office. Remember that? He goes out to the Middle East. He says something. He's
Yeah,
alongside-
Sleepy was still here.
Sleepy was still here.
R.I.P.
By the way, put that dog down.
No.
No, I know. I'm telling Sleepy Joe, put your fucking crazy dog Major down.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
think
saying
they did.
Joe is a dog,
Oh, okay.
but frankly, to Joe's family, let him
I
go.
think Sleepy should start a podcast.
Sleepy.
He's gonna do
please.
something
He's
like
gonna.
that.
I know he signed a
Please.
CAA.
Yeah, let's get you on spot. Let's get you on the ringer.
I wonder if Obama's going to
We
block
need to
him
know who
from-
your guys
from
are.
work. Yeah, who's your guys? He should go on Marin. I think Biden should go on Marin tomorrow. So, Witkoff is credited with securing this ceasefire, even while Biden was still in office. And I think the more astute people are like, well, okay, what's really going on here? Like, what did they offer? What were the deals made? Like, what went down here? A little about Steve Witkoff. I was surprised to find out that one of his sons died from an Oxycontin overdose, which, interesting, seems like, just from my perspective, an issue in knowing your limits.
Oh my god.
I knew mine, and I am, unfortunately, not like a lot of my friends, and Steve Witkoff's son, still here. So the other is a founder of World Liberty Financial, and I'm going to
No.
tell you, Liz, I'm going to tell you, I'm looking down to the Belden Brood, right? And I say, my sons, and you're like, Brace, you have a choice between your son can either be a co-founder of World Liberty Financial or dead of an Oxycontin overdose. I would say, distribute the bills. Distribute the bills.
Can you remind everyone what World Liberty Financial is?
That is the cryptocurrency scam, one of the cryptocurrency scam projects that our piece of shit, fat, gay president. And you know what? There was some bleeps. We're putting in some bleeps there, but that's only to save me some for later.
We're liberal now.
We're
We
liberal
can't-
now, and I can't
there's
say
lots
that.
of things we can't
And
say.
I love everybody. I
It's
love
all
everybody.
love.
Our piece of shit, fake drumpf-ass fucking cocksucker president, piece of fucking rolling around there, is fucking lifting up his belly fat, and you can smell his fucking
It's like
belly button smegma.
which is filet-o-fish sauce.
Disgusting fucking president. Disgusting fucking president. It's the cryptocurrency him and his fucking dysgenic sons have together, including his fucking clearly fucked up in the mental son, Barron, who, by the way, is being groomed to either do a mass shooting or become transgender in his fucking Discord groups. And I hope he does one of it.
Wait, he could do both.
He could do both. Well,
Or she could.
Yeah, she could. Well, anyways, World Liberty Financial is started by Steve Witkoff and his child, and Donald Trump and his children who he has fucking sex with. Fuck these people. Anyways, I'm trying to get some information across here.
Sorry.
So Israel does the ceasefire like, oh guys, it's going to be a 3-phase in ceasefire. Israel's like, all right, we're going to ceasefire here in Gaza, which they don't really, but we're just going to kill as many women and children as possible
On
in
the
the
way
West
out.
Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go send all our guys to the West Bank. So Israel has been brutally assaulting the West Bank.
Which the BBC is just calling Israel now, by the way.
Everyone's going to be calling it Israel now, which we'll get to in
Yeah.
just a moment, which I know you always say that, but only I sometimes do. We really will. The ceasefire is phased in, temporary ceasefire for 6 weeks until phase 2 of the ceasefire. And that I want to just put a little pinpoint here. A notable part of the negotiations for that ceasefire had to do with security around the Gaza Strip. The security around the Gaza Strip is going to be handled by PMCs, private military companies. I believe 2 of them are American and 1 is Egyptian, which probably means like Gulf Arab owned and
Probably
staff
American.
like operated by like Eric Prince or something.
Yeah.
One of those companies, I can't remember who wrote this, was like Bloomberg or one of those fucking rags, which will soon be sued into oblivion and disappear, which, no huge tears coming from me. But 96 Green Berets have been they're looking for 96 people with Green Beret experience to staff these. So these are American veterans that we're going to send out there.
96?
I mean, I'm sure that they already have a bunch of guys on the docket. But I want to be clear here. So part of the negotiations for that ceasefire were the deployment of private military contractors. Now, oftentimes PMCs, they'll be staffed with like maybe some Colombian mercenaries, like the Saudi ones that were sent to Yemen, or just like American veterans.
Yeah, we run out of Ukrainians, unfortunately.
Well, it does lead to a noticeable drop in mass shootings, wife beatings, and random rapes at bars when more veterans go overseas. But those are American troops and they're overseas. And so, to be clear, there are American troops, veterans, serving in Israel right now surrounding Gaza. To continue. Notably, one of the first things that Trump did when he assumed the mantle of power, when he picked the crown up from Joe Biden's disgusting dog's dog bowl and put it on his head, is he released the shipments of 2,000-pound bombs, almost as big as you, Donald, to be shipped to Israel. Now, Biden, our disgusting, pathetic, you know what? Much like the other guy, also dead-sunned.
I know, very
similar to
actually.
Witkoff. Yeah. Well, no, that's the difference.
Hunter was doing scams too, but it was
Yeah.
like kind of more old school.
Hunter should have died of an overdose.
And he should have also done a crypto scan. I'm surprised he hasn't.
Well, he was kind of, actually.
He
that
was
is
like in the
shocking.
in-between time where he's like, my scam will be on the board of a Ukrainian
I'll be
shell
on,
company
Yeah, exactly.
for
Yeah, I'll make some
energy
deals.
oligarchs.
But Joe Biden had, because remember how all those people, AOC, they're working tirelessly for a ceasefire. They're working tirelessly. We're going to get us a ceasefire. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I want to point out.
I think that we read that wrong, and what she meant was like he's tired. He's tired.
Tiredly.
Yeah.
Tiredly. He's very sleepy, but at some point maybe he'll wake up.
I want to note here that myself and Monsieur Young Chomsky once yelled at Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez in person.
Yeah, I
About
started
his-
that chain.
Yeah.
She was first on the scene.
He first came out. We yelled at her about
Yeah.
it, about Israel-Palestine.
And she's trying to give us a whole. I remember she was talking about shoes, how she bought some new shoes, and I was like, giving her a chance.
Are you serious?
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
we like
This
we
is not a
disrupted.
very flattering story.
What are you
us or
talking
her?
about?
No, for her.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I'm like, we
But it also
came
is
out,
like,
it was great.
it sounds almost like too stereotypical to be true.
No,
This was
she
like
was-
2018 or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. She was on stage talking about shoes.
And we started yelling.
And you're like, no,
about-
Jews. No, Jews, not
Yeah.
shoes.
And then she kind of like recovered. She was like, I think it's an important conversation to have with the community.
Yeah, yeah. I just
The
left.
community.
I just left after that. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck. Whatever, lady.
Mm.
Not with our community, but but Joe Biden had like the one restriction besides delaying a single weapon shipment for like 2 weeks once. The one restriction he ever did was like, we're not going to send these 2,000-pound bombs over there. And that was like, I don't know what he was thinking. I guess he wasn't thinking because he physically cannot.
Well, whoever made that decision
Mm-hmm.
was just like, this is reasonable.
Yeah, yeah. And like, oh,
This is a reasonable red line.
maybe this will ameliorate somebody. Oh, maybe perhaps this will mollify.
Then they'll just have to use 2,000 1-pound bombs.
Exactly, which they did.
Yeah.
And quadcopters with machine guns playing the cries of children to lure people out of tents and massacre them, all with American money backing it up, your tax dollars. The Trump is now like, all right, you know what? We love the quadcopters. We love the massacres. We love all this stuff. We'll give you the 2,000-pound bombs. Biden, I want to also mention here, approved $17 billion in arms transfers to Israel between October 2023 and 2024. But Trump and Bibi have a special pause relationship. I guess now I would do the pause. In 2019, famously, Trump recognized the Golan Heights, a legal part of the country of Syria, as part of Israel, which I found very odd because it's not a part of Israel, but I guess America dictates that, and moved the embassy to Jerusalem, recognizing full Israeli sovereignty over the city.
Don't forget that Hegseth also wants to build the temple.
Yeah. Hegseth will...
I cannot believe that.
I
That is
was
a fucking
yeah.
cartoon character.
It's difficult for me to say what I think of Hegseth.
It's crazy how all of the Trump appointees, I'm thinking specifically about Kash Patel, and who's crazy looking, and Hegseth, but also RFK, and to be honest, kind of, what's her fucking face?
Tulsi?
Tulsi, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Are like cartoon characters of the office that they hold.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
extreme cartoon versions.
Like literally from Toontown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is what the cartoon version of the United States Secretary of Defense would look like. He would have white power tattoos, be like such an insane, like roided up, fucking zinned out freak that wants to, Dr. Strangelove the entire world.
Not to be whatever about it.
But like to bring about like the second coming.
This is one of the most, I will say, Trump is kind of a master here because all of the people he's getting, not all of them, but many of the people that he's putting into his cabinet positions here, they can't be blackmailed. We all know they've raped. There's no video evidence that's going to change anyone's mind.
That's the jujitsu move against Israel.
Exactly. He's people. I know a lot of Trump's anti-Semitic supporters have been justified in their various ways of like, oh, he's doing 4D chess, oh, he's doing this to mollify them, or I criticize him for this only about Trump's special relationship with Netanyahu. But you got to think Trump is actually thinking 10 steps ahead. He's like, we have Lloyd Austin. First of all, was dying and in the hospital for 50% of his tenure as Secretary of Defense. Lloyd Austin was I think dead from 2023 to 2025. I think Lloyd Austin died several years ago. But Trump is like, how can I prevent my nominees for these cabinet positions from being blackmailed? I will just get every rapist from my Rolodex out there and put them on.
No, it's true. It's like, checkmate, Israel. We don't give a fuck that they've raped children.
Yes, exactly.
Americans don't care.
They don't care. In fact, we like it and we'll justify it.
Yeah. Find new blackmail.
Yes, I know. But what was I going with this? No, so yeah, now Bibi's back. He gets to hang out with his best friend Trump. He gave him the pager. Did you guys see the pager?
The golden
Yes.
pager, yeah.
The golden pager. Why would you give him the pager?
What do you mean?
Well, the last time that you gave a guy the
I know, it
pager-
is kind of a weird, no, it's fucked up and sadistic on so many levels that it's hard to take in. Like, it's hard to take in the, like, totality of evil that him presenting a golden pager to Trump signifies.
Yes.
Like, it's really, it makes me feel extremely, extremely despondent.
Yeah, and for all you fucking shit-eating pieces of shit, which I
Okay.
guess that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but you know what I'm saying there. For all you pieces of shit out there who've been like defending Israel on this like liberal-ass tip, which became a little more unfashionable.
Who was doing that?
Every Democrat.
Oh, no.
You know?
I thought you were talking about our listeners.
No, not our listeners.
Oh, right.
Our listeners don't know about Israel yet.
Okay, sure.
We're telling them about it this episode. It's this crazy country, you'll never believe it. But there is no other Israel. This is the Israel that there is. You know what I mean? There
Yeah.
isn't like another mythical Israel. There's no other. This is Israel. It is Netanyahu giving Trump the fucking golden pager in some kind of. It was like a plaque made of like a stump
It was supposed to be an olive tree.
that they cut down.
Right.
Oh, similar to how oftentimes settlers in the West Bank
Yes.
are allowed to murder people with impunity, Palestinians who are just out in their olive groves picking things.
But also how they literally do cut down all of the olive trees of Palestinians.
Yeah, or maybe it's like got to do with southern Lebanon too. I don't know, but that is Israel, and it is in the White House. But the point is here, Trump and Netanyahu met on Tuesday, and after they were finished performing the wildest mutual oral copulation in human history, I don't think they physically could, actually. I don't think that Trump could 69. I think he could do it from the top.
Geometrically, it would.
Geometrically,
let's move on.
His belly would form too much of a mound.
Let's move on. It's actually more of a temple mount.
Temple Mount, exactly. Wow.
There you go.
Wow. And Netanyahu seems short to me, although he's probably like 5'6", 5'7" tall. Trump promised to annex Gaza. So Trump said he
Yeah.
is going to annex Gaza. So he'd already said on January 20th, on Inauguration Day, that Gaza would make fine real estate. On January 26th, he says that, maybe the Palestinians can move to Egypt or Jordan. And then at the press conference the other day, he lays out a number of things, including that Palestinians have had tremendous bad luck in Gaza. Can't really fault him there. That is true. But seems to imply, I mean, it's Trump, so it's difficult to parse here, but he seems to imply that we're going to build them some nice houses in some other place.
So forcibly move the Palestinians.
Ethnically cleansed, yes.
Yeah, ethnically cleansed to another location. And then build... I would assume Trump hotels, golf courses.
One would assume, yeah.
Sweet greens, crumble cookies.
Crumble cookies, mixed use. Yeah,
Mixed
you YIMBY
uses.
fucks. You
Yeah.
can fucking move in there with your fucking Gary Tan.
Well, I mean, isn't that the
YIMBY
birthright dream?
It really is, yeah. Well, I mean, what is Israel but YIMBY writ large? The Trump plan here does not seem very well thought out, Liz.
I mean, I don't know. It seems like someone thought of it. It's funny because Mick Mulvaney, right, who was part of Trump 1, he came out and he was like, that doesn't sound like Trump, which is like such a funny thing to say. But he was like, I was reading it and they're like, he's like, I was puzzled to hear the proposal to lay it out. And he says, it wasn't him. It was not his language. And I was like, I don't know. The man who worked for so long to get us out of the forever war in Afghanistan was up here on the podium saying, we're going to occupy this land for the next 10 or 15 years. It made no sense to me.
Well, Mick Mulvaney, it might not make sense to you because you're fucking stupid. But Trump, first of all, did not get us out of Afghanistan, did not get us out of Syria, fucking lied about both of those. And in fact, in Syria, he said, we're going to leave the troops there on the oil. And that's exactly what he did. In terms of Palestine, I mean, listen, he's compared it to the Riviera, which, listen, I don't know. I've never been to Gaza, but that shit isn't the Riviera ain't that a river?
What? No.
It's
The
like the
Riviera.
south
The
of
French talk
France?
about like the French
I
Riviera.
don't know what that is.
Think about Monaco. Think about all of those fucking casinos on the
So
beach.
in my head,
the F1, there's going to be an F1 Gaza.
yeah. In my head, the Riviera is a that's like the French word for river, and there's like a cool river that like the people are on.
No, think of like a coastline with a bunch of
Yeah, like southern France.
capitalist activities.
I know
like-
what the southern France is like. I just didn't know that was what the Riviera was. But he also says that we're leaving the anti-Semitic UN Human Rights Council. We are ending all funding for UNRWA and putting maximum pressure on Iran, designating the Houthis an FTO. And I just want to put a point in several of those past things. First of all, maximum pressure on Iran was something that we were already trying to do alongside Israel. the Houthis had already been designated once again as a foreign terrorist organization by Biden after October 7th, when they started standing up for the Palestinians. Even though Biden had taken them off in 2021, Biden actually had put them back on. And frankly, whether Biden and his group of puppeteers or whatever are calling the UN anti-Semitic, I'm sure that many of them have. They're going to treat it the same exact way. They're going to fucking sanction. Like, Trump is much more. Trump hates the ICC, but like these people will vote against all the Palestine stuff. It doesn't matter. This is like, at least Stefanik is in there now, and like her. I don't know how to describe this, but like her, like the way that she is going to actually act in the UN, how will that be functionally different than like Biden's people?
I don't think
acting
it
in there?
will.
Because like we vote with Israel and everything.
It'll just be a difference in how the media covers it.
Exactly. But Trump's talk about annexing Gaza is also, it's funny because this had been sort of floated without the Riviera talk, without the Trump Hotel kind of like implications there this is like the Israeli plan for a long time, but it's also been floated reportedly by Blinken to move all of the Palestinians out of Gaza into the Negev and like send them to the desert.
And everyone said that was too crazy. But
Yeah.
Trump can come out and say it.
Because he's disrupting the fucking paradigm, Liz.
Oh my God. Well, apparently it might have come from Jared Kushner.
So Trump's alternative lifestyle son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who made his daughter Jewish, which is so funny that Trump has a Jewish daughter. But Jared Kushner,
Who is like posting bikini pics, by the way.
Ivanka?
Yes.
Yeah, she is.
Facelift and Ozempic.
How old is she? Ivanka Trump age.
I think she's 42, 45.
And she's a mother?
Yeah. How old is she?
Florida lifestyle, kind of. Yeah? You think they swing?
43.
We know they swing.
See how it's close.
The Kushner, listen, Kushner was like the architect of the Abraham Accords, which you might argue kicked off October 7th. He is fully, he's invested in all these fucking settler groups. Like, Kushner is a hardcore, like, Zionist agent, basically. Like, he works, it's just astounding, but he's also really, really close to a lot of the Gulf state guys, too. So I guess you could just call him like a Middle Eastern mafioso, but hailing from America. He gave this long talk at Harvard, which I unfortunately watched the entirety of, with some Ford Foundation loser.
Did you learn anything?
No.
Okay.
I did. And I really was like, maybe I will. No, it's just, they just talk.
Yeah.
It's less information than a podcast. But he talks about basically the same thing. It's like, we can annex it. We can make it really nice. There's talk about Singapore. And then, of course, Curtis Yarvin, who appears to be taking the Ozempic very well, has released an article yesterday basically saying like, oh, we should do a charter city there. And I agree. You know what? All you charter city guys, if you guys, Gaza, I think would be a great next step for you.
I think they should all go there.
I think go to Gaza, In
fact, go right now.
I foresee many difficulties with the mass removal of 1.7 million people in a brazen act of U.S.-backed, or in fact, U.S.-done directly ethnic cleansing. But maybe nothing fucking matters anymore. This also is coming at the same time that there is a renewed push to annex the West Bank.
Yeah.
So the Israeli thing is that Palestinians are just Jordanians or Arabs. Like, Arabs are all the same.
Right.
They're just, Palestinians, Jordanians. This obviously, any cursory knowledge of the history of the region will show you that this caused some problems in Jordan in the 1970s. And so I think the general thought here is to move Palestinians to Jordan or to Egypt in maybe some like weird, like, Khrushchev housing that we build for them in the desert there. And then annex the West Bank and Gaza into Israel, or maybe make the Gaza like an international city, charter city, and West Bank just becomes part of Israel.
They did float the Madagascar plan.
Which is the Morocco plan. Liz.
No, there was one to go to Madagascar.
They're seriously sending them to Madagascar.
It's like fucking, there's like so many absurd, we'll just take them and put them somewhere else.
The Madagascar plan? Well, that, we saw what that turned into back in the 1930s. guess it turned into Israel eventually. But Jesus fucking Christ, it's tough. Now there is a so this was from a Q&A with Trump. Liz, can you be Trump here?
No, I don't want to do a Trump voice. Can I do a question? Can I do the question?
Do a different? Okay, fine.
Well, question. How much time do you think it will take? Mr. President, do you support Israeli sovereignty in Judea and Samaria areas, which many believe is the biblical homeland of the Jewish people?
Well, we're discussing. I'm not doing the Trump voice either. Well, we're discussing that with many of your representatives. You're represented it very well, and people do like the idea, but we haven't taken a position on it yet. But there will be. We'll be making an announcement probably on that very specific topic over the next 4 weeks. So, I mean, this is Trump saying that we're going to make an announcement one way or the other on Israeli annexation of the West Bank within the next 4 weeks, which I don't think should come as a surprise to anybody. I mean, this isn't like a shock thing that's happening, but like it is, you know, it is not good news.
No.
But maybe it's just hastening the inevitable. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe this will cause something, but it also, you know, it showcases just the fucking cowardice of a lot of the neighboring countries. There's also now a House working group on Judea and Samaria and a push by Republicans to call it that instead of the West Bank in all official documentation. Yes. This is what Trump said on Twitter yesterday, which is we're recording this Friday, February 7th. He said, the Gaza Strip would be turned over to the United States by Israel at the conclusion of fighting. The Palestinians, people like Chuck Schumer, would have already been resettled in far safer and more beautiful communities with new and modern homes in the region. They would actually have a chance to be happy, safe, and free. The U.S., working with great development teams from all over the world, would slowly and carefully begin the construction of what would become one of the greatest, most spectacular developments of its kind on Earth. No soldiers by the U.S. would be needed. Stability for the region would reign.
I mean, this is absurd.
Well, I mean, in real terms here, this is talking about the mass ethnic cleansing of something less than 2 million people, and forced resettlement into areas that we choose for them. I'm presuming no returns there, and essentially the annexation by the United States there. It's really unclear with a global-led reconstruction effort. I mean, it's not reconstruction, it's new construction because we're not reconstructing their houses. They can't come back. I mean, what do you want me to say? You know, it's sick. These people are sick.
Well, things aren't great on the home front either. Do you like that?
I love that, Liz. You're doing that's a good transition.
I don't know how to transition to this. They want to fucking send U.S. prisoners to El Salvador.
You know I love every race. I just want to put that out there right now. I love every race but one.
Which one?
No, I've said that since the beginning of the show. You'll never know. And you could never guess. You will never guess. And I know you're thinking it right now. It's not that one. I love every single race but one. And I love them so much.
Except for the one.
Except for the one. But for this next segment here, imagine me racist. It's hard to do, I understand. Thought exercise that maybe can't even be done, many are saying. Bukele, the leader of El Salvador, a Latin American nation, Bukele he's believe Lebanese origin, meeting with, well, he's meeting with lots of people. His coke dealer, his brother, the Bronze Age pervert, and some sort of, you know, new style of sexual Congress, and Marco Rubio. Google the words Marco Rubio phone party if you are driving right now. And if you're not driving, wait till you're in a car and you have your iPad up to do it. But Marco Rubio phone party. These two gentlemen met. Marco Rubio, who is a second-generation Cuban-American. His father assisted in the assassination of JFK, and he lied about his father's opposition to Castro because he came over before Castro even took power. So he's a fucking liar from day one.
Who's now our Secretary of State.
Now our Secretary of State.
Yeah.
I just want to make it clear here. I have no judgment on this. Don't imagine me racist anymore. Neither of these are white American men. I'm just going to say that right now. It's fine, but I'm coming this from the perspective of a racist guy. So I'm like, this is how I'm viewing
Right.
it.
You're trying to understand.
Trying to understand racist
Right.
people. I'm trying to, because I'm a liberal. I'm trying to understand.
You're putting on their cloak
Yes.
and you're getting in the mindset.
Because I'm like, white power. That's what I'm doing right now.
Right.
But I'm not doing it as Brace. I'm doing it in
Under the veil of racism.
No, you know what I'm doing? Under the veil of empathy for racists. But I'm looking here and I'm looking at this second generation Cuban guy, Latinx, meeting with this
The tings.
Latinx guy, going down there, Secretary of State, meeting with a Lebanese, El Salvadorian guy. And they're talking about sending good, hardworking, white American felony convicts to El Salvador. So what we're talking about here is Rubio went down to El Salvador. It's clear that he went down there to work out some dirty deal between the countries, likely involving the deportation of El Salvadorians living in the United States. But then something strange.
And probably some off the books stuff.
Probably some cryptocurrency, cocaine, and possibly some
Weapons
15-year-old
trafficking. Oh.
boy.
All that.
Weapons trafficking, for Marco Rubio and his friends. Liz, could you read the full? This is the official text of. This is on like the State Department website of Rubio's remarks.
First, obviously, he continues with full cooperation on the returning of Salvadorians who find themselves illegally in the United States and welcome them back home. And that's already existing and will continue. But second, he has agreed to accept for deportation any illegal alien in the United States who is a criminal from any nationality, be they MS-13 or Tren de Aragua, and house them in his jails. And third, he has offered to house in his jails dangerous American criminals in custody in our country, including those of U.S. citizenship and legal residence. No country's ever made an offer of friendship such as this. You can think about it. Any unlawful immigrant, illegal immigrant in the United States who's a dangerous criminal, whatever it may be, he has offered his jails so we can send them here and he will put them in his jails. And he's also offered to do the same for dangerous criminals currently in... Wait, is this the same?
No.
Oh. Well, he's really repeating himself here.
He is repeating himself here, but
And he's also offered to do the same for dangerous criminals currently in custody and serving their sentences in the United States, even if they're United States citizens, or legal residents. We are just profoundly grateful. I spoke to President Trump about this earlier today, and it's just one more sign of what an incredible friend we have here in President Bukele and the people of El Salvador. Holy fucking shit.
I mean, this is what made me. I was like,
Yeah, you kind of lost your mind.
I
here.
fucking like you traitor piece of shit. I'm liberal now because I love our country
As a liberal.
as a liberal. This is fucking. I'm sorry. Like this is insane to me. You're fucking sending this Marco Rubio cocksucker down there to fucking El Salvador to prostrate before this fucking Bitcoin pimp and say that you're gonna send American. He's offering. First of all, Bukele. Fucking. It's just stay out of our business. This is what I'm saying. Like this is what broke me, man. I'm like, you cannot talk about fucking sending American citizens out of the country to fucking El Salvador.
Well, and then did you know the prison? It's like like insane cinematic supermax. The photos that it's all AI, like whatever.
Yeah.
But it looks fucking crazy.
Well, Musk comes out and says, "Oh, this is a great idea." Musk, who also, by the way, where were you born? Not in America. Musk comes out here and says, "Oh, this is a great idea," a couple of times. Trump even says, "Oh, it's a great idea," although he's like, "Oh, we got to look into the constitutionality of it." Newsflash, is obviously unconstitutional. It's, first of all, cruel and unusual punishment. Second of all, how am I supposed to get my lawyer if I'm doing appeals, which I'm doing? If I'm appealing, my lawyer's supposed to just like go to El Salvador now? In what jurisdiction is that court? What's the court of appeals there? Am I integrated into the El Salvadorian prison system? Is there a part of CCOT that is now technically American soil, like an embassy or like a military base, and I'm stuck down there? Like, we have prisons. Our prison system is not overrun. We have so many prisons. We have more prisoners than anyone else, and we got more prisons than anyone else. It's like, this is the gall of fucking Musk to come to our fucking country, and we gave him everything. And he's talking about sending our criminals overseas?
I mean,
It's ridiculous.
God bless you for saying it's unconstitutional, because I am going to wait on that, because I don't know what is constitutional anymore.
Well, this is what I mean. This is really what I'm getting at with even putting this in the episode in the first place. What this to me is a sign of, this is like a real state of exception shit, right? Like, this is a sign of like, okay, so we're just like doing away. Like, one of the things that these tech fucking people always say, this like little post-rationalist teapot bullshit. Oh, my crack engineer friend.
Stop saying crack.
You're just ugly. I'm sorry. You're just ugly and you went to school a lot. You're not cracked. You're ugly and you have no fucking friends. You're not building anything important for the fucking world. You're coding your stupid... Remember that stupid piece of shit? Dysgenic, we want to talk about that guy who's like, I found Luigi Mangione, and you were just wrong. They're all like that. They all think they're a fucking genius. They all think they're saving the world.
But also, like, they're all building skills to just like roll up into the only thing that we build, which is like a crypto scam. It's like, bitch, you're not working on anything remotely useful for humanity or furthering anything in the name of science or like fulfilling any sort of like human potential. You are literally working on a fucking bullshit scam for ad revenue to like roll up into someone's like leveraged fucking option play.
Oh, I moved to San Francisco. to, I'm cracked. You're doing B2P SaaS. Hey, I hope that you get eaten by a crackhead. And I'll say this, when I see the crackhead, at least I know I can get crack from him. With you bring me nothing. What am I supposed to do with B2B SaaS? I'm already a successful small businessman. I don't need your B2B fucking SaaS. I like crack. I've smoked crack. Crack feels good. There's a reason that people are addicted to it. Nobody's addicted to B2B SaaS, okay? Crackheads get pussy. I mean, they do. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but they do. You're lonely, and you'll eventually develop personality defects because of that are irrevocable. You cannot put those back in the toothpaste back in the tube with that. And you come out here and you're telling us that it's a good idea to send American citizens. I don't give a fuck if someone's a criminal or whatever. They're American citizens, and you're sending them to fucking. You want to tell them to El Salvador? I mean, Bukele arrested around 80,000 people during the initial crackdowns in El Salvador. CCOT's got about 15,000 people there. It's a it's a terrorist confinement center. That's what it stands for. But it's like a counter-terror thing. That's how they kind of like legalized all of it. I didn't realize this, but Trump classified Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist organization. I think an FTO, but as a terrorist organization.
Not surprised.
Yeah, me either. Pretty, because the Aurora apartment buildings. I mean, like, what are we gonna do? Like if you push the piece ahead here, what do you see happening? Like, U.S. troops deploying to Mexico and arresting cartel members, putting them in like
Drone
secret
war.
prisons in fucking El Salvador and in fucking America. Like, it's just like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing now.
The thing there is the legal framework for this based on the 2001 OMF.
Yeah.
You designate someone an FTO, and based on that order for Afghanistan, you can fucking do a lot of shit.
Anything you want.
From the executive, bypassing Congress.
And
that's the law, and these fucking people know it. They know it. They're using all of the tools in the toolbox.
Exactly. And you see some of the so-called civil libertarian people who sort of back Trump up because of like, oh, free speech or whatever. You are like, you're all
fucking cooked.
You're all suckers is what you are. You're all suckers. But my thing, the reason I even brought up the tech people in the first place is they say things, you can just do things. And that's kind of what the state of exception shit is now. You can just do things.
Yeah.
You can just do things. Something that I've always said, but the things that I want to do are very different than the things they want to do. I mean, I'm not even really sure what you want to call this, because now we're reopening Guantanamo. We're not reopening. Guantanamo Bay has been open this entire time, but we are revamping parts of Guantanamo Bay to house immigrants that we're just like resettling them there, I guess. And
well,
then
I don't even know if like immigration is even the right word for the way that we like structure this policy. Like,
lay it on me.
We just seem to import people as quick as we export them. And so we have more of a like labor prison rotation system that we do, like more so than anything that resembles some kind of like, I don't know, like AI refurbished Ellis Island.
Yeah.
Like that is not this is our immigration policy. And that plus just like fucking juicing as much skilled immigration as we can.
Yeah.
Because like newsflash, the United States cannot function without both unskilled and skilled immigration.
Lay it
And
on
we
me,
will
Madam
kind of like
Iglesias.
we will kind of like go through that maybe and like why that is sort of like one of the underlying contradictions of a lot of the stuff that a lot of the circles that Trump needs to square, we'll say. But like, you know, how they're kind of like figuring that out, or it seems to me that's how the state kind of operates
Yeah.
on, like our immigration policy. Now, what's weird is that there was this really interesting piece in The Guardian. I think I sent it to you.
You did.
That was kind of investigating exactly how many people are being deported right now, and no one can really tell. And they kind of basically they got a tip from an immigration lawyer who refused to go on the record because they were afraid of like retribution, which
Fair enough.
fair enough. And you're going to see a lot more of that. That's all I'm going to
Yeah.
say. A lot of chilling effects, as people like to say, going around. But the piece was basically like this immigration lawyer was trying to figure out exactly what deportations were going on, because as they were trying to like go through the news and they were Googling all of this stuff, what was coming up were like ICE press releases from 2014, 2015, 2016, and like reporting all of these numbers. And they weren't actually like everything that was being aggregated at the top was really old. And so it was giving an impression that a lot of massive deportations were happening, but they couldn't actually get real numbers on the ground. And I'm not trying to suggest that that's not going on, because we know that's not true. But I do think and you see this, the way that Elon uses Twitter, which we'll talk about, everything else, excuse me, and the way that Trump understands performance and sort of like saying shit but doing another, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of theater, and and it seems like there's a lot of throwing shit at everyone to create a sense of chaos.
Yeah.
In order to, in this instance, they want people to self-deport. They want people to be scared and to, like Kamala voice, do not come.
I'm going to come.
Yeah.
And, putting a big show on and creating this sense of chaos so that everyone just sort of like freezes up and stops.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And they're doing it well.
I think they're doing it well. And one thing too, like that should be mentioned from Trump's first term is that like they also gummed down the works of like the legal immigration process too.
Believe me, I know.
I know. And so it's like, I mean, it's there's been a lot of talk about how they're sort of flooding the zone or whatever with shit. And like, but it is true. Like there is so many smoke and mirrors and so much bullshit going on right now that it is hard to like get to the heart of some of like the things that they say they're doing. One group of people who have been completely unable to get to the heart of not only the voters of this country during the presidential election, but in the aftermath is the party of the Democrats.
Yes.
The Democratic Party, who are, how would you describe them?
Slow.
Sleepy.
Asleep at the wheel. Slow.
Your party, the Führerprinzip, as exercised by the Democrats, has been a disaster because following your ultimate leader of Joe Biden has led you into the abyss. You're all so tired now.
I don't know. I mean, I truly do almost feel bad talking about it because I'm like, oh, I don't want to pick on him too much.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad kicking people when they're down.
Like, in Total Recall when they shoot the guy who's got the little fella in his chest? It's like,
Quato.
I know, but like, how come you got killed, He's all fucked up there.
He was freaky though.
I know, but like, it's like that. You feel like, oh, you're a freak, and I'm still going to shoot you?
Did you see the, like, Chuck Schumer? Should we play it?
Play it.
I am going to stand with you in this fight, and we will win. 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 We will win.
And I just, like, I see that, and I'm like, oh, babe, the help's not coming.
No. Well, this is I think the big problem with the Democrats. One of the big problems with the Democrats is that like they offer nothing. And I think, I mean, obviously we don't need this has been talked to death in every arena. the Trump is able to kind of come in on this like platform of like real like big change or whatever that change may be, but like real big change. And the Democrats promised nothing but like that thing we were doing, more of that, which everybody hates. And like they seem to still be stuck in that paradigm. And I think I told you about this yesterday. I've been trying to be like, what are the Democrats doing?
Yeah.
So I listened to the New York Times like
roundtable
on the Dems.
I didn't listen to it.
Oh,
I
it's
should have.
horrible.
I
It's
still
horrible.
don't understand these people.
I do not. Well, they were saying like, and some in the Democratic Party think that they need a revolution. And the revolution they're talking about is just being John Fetterman or Richie Torres. So you're just being a Republican. And like, it's so, and the thing is like,
They hate the left so much.
Yes.
They blame the left for Trump, either because of what they like to say is Dearborn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is thanks Dearborn. So you
Yeah.
already got that, which is a fucking psychotic thing
Yeah.
to say. Just, I'm not even going to dignify it.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, Biden actually was a leftist.
He was a leftist.
He was a leftist. He was staffed by leftists.
And the groups.
all of the things that Biden did that the left wanted, which apparently, but doesn't include Gaza, right? But it's just like, I don't know, the CHIPS Act or something?
Infrastructure.
Oh, babe.
The infrastructure
Let me know when
bill.
that, when
The infrastructure bill.
Sure, okay. All of those things, and the fact that they hired Lena Khan, right? Those are they point to two things. The infrastructure and Lena Khan, it was the left, and the sort of like the ambient wokeness of the multi-culti Biden administration or whatever is the left's fault. And because they did this, we have Trump.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking like, because I think there is something to like this very like activisty like layer of people in the Democratic Party who are young, like the woke liberals or whatever, who steered a lot of this. But it's like, or not a lot of this, but like who like kind of give that popular perception of like Democrats like that. You know,
saw their beautiful PowerPoint presentations.
we
at the
did. Yeah,
DNC.
we got to spend a little time
Oh,
with them
yeah.
at the DNC. But it's funny because
Kamala is demure or whatever they say.
mindful and demure.
oh, she's so mindful, so demure. But it was so funny that we like. You see these people like Iglesias in between loud chews of, gristle or whatever.
Who is insanely influential, by the way. The way that
Yes.
this man acts like he's an outside voice while he has had like a direct line to party operative. I mean, he acts like, oh, I'm just a little blogger. Bitch, are you kidding me?
That's all of these people. All of these people, I'm just a widow. I'm just a widow. You see this from a lot of people.
Shirking responsibility. You know who doesn't shirk responsibility? TrueAnon.
TrueAnon, because nobody listens to us. Nobody listens to us because
That's not true.
We have politics that are far outside of, unfortunately.
true.
But they are. But that's
we're
because
bringing no.
we are the liberal lighthouse shining in the sea, a Sargasso
Yes.
sea of shipwrecks and giant squids and racists and anti-racists. We stand
both.
there. We stand there as a beacon.
No, because one divides into two.
One divides into two. Exactly. And we seek motherfucking truth from facts. And the fact of the matter is you fucking failed. You are failures. Matt Iglesias, you want to talk about the fucking groups in the Democratic
What are
Party?
the groups?
So I'm assuming this means like Planned Parenthood Action and like birthing
It's
persons
called civil
or whatever.
society.
Yes.
This is
You
newsflash.
need it.
You know what newsflash? What they're upset about is the fucking internet. Because
Yes.
this is what the internet is now just a layer on our lives. No one logs off because it is just a layer on our life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has revolutionized communication in this country, not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
Well, not in a good way for a lot of people.
For normal people like us, normal liberals.
It has given our enemies incredible tools that they are now using to do incredible things that I disagree with.
And basically everyone is our enemy.
Well, there's that too.
So this is what I want to say about the groups thing. I am an average American citizen, right? I've mostly tried to taxes, but I have looked this up. I am fine within the ability for me to get in trouble for that. So I can say this now. For many years of my life, I did taxes because I paid it on the table.
Wait. Okay.
So you know,
Are you sure they can't come after you for that?
from like 2008,
Yeah. dude.
prove it.
Well,
I
I
paid
think you just
taxes the
admitted
whole
to-
thing. Yeah, but this is a comedy podcast.
Or the city of Philadelphia is still coming after me from 10 years ago, and they're fucking wrong. but that's another story.
Well, then bleep certain words out of what I just said there then. But I'm saying, like, I'm a normal fucking guy, right? I would have never had any contact with any of these fucking groups type of people, except for one organization that brought them all together. The Democrat Party that you did. You did this. Don't pretend like the groups are the civil society organizations that these people now blame for losing them the election. Maybe they did, but guess what? Without them, you're nothing, and you're part of them. That is your constituency there. It is not normal people. Just like the Republicans' constituency is like fucking whatever, like oil or crypto people. Your constituency is people who make like $80,000 a year working for Planned Parenthood Action, who are basically like taking bribes for their NGO heads. Like that is what your constituency is. I don't know what to tell you. You can't separate it from that. And let me mention for a second the left here. The so-called left in this country, who, by the way, and I've said this before, and I'm sure, unfortunately, I'll be forced by circumstances to say it once again. There was a point in this country where the liberals were seen, some liberals, certain sections of liberals were seen, and rightfully so, frankly, as useful idiots for the left. Now, what does the Communist act as? A useful idiot for the liberals. Has made no distinction between you and which we are liberals, so I excuse myself from this, but had no distinction between you and mainstream like Democrat stuff, except for like, oh, I don't like capitalism because it's unfair. It's unfair. Capitalism is unfair. You are a fucking progressive. You are not a communist. You're a fucking progressive. And then, or just these ultra left freaks. Nobody is fucking serious. And that's what fucking gets me, is all these people are not fucking serious. They don't give a fuck. It's just like a middle class fucking adventure for them. And guess what? Maybe that's fun, but the reality is there are actual stakes in this world, and people are just completely abnegating. However you say abnegating?
Abdicating.
No, there's another word there. But you are also abdicating all responsibility for a historical mission which has been abandoned for decades. But people always pretend like they're resuming. They're picking up the mantle, picking up the mantle, picking up the mantle. It's just it drives me fucking crazy. And I think a lot of that comes because I'm jealous, Liz. I think I'm saying that because I'm jealous, because they're destroying USAID right now.
Well, that was what's so funny to watch the Democrats. I mean, I just want to. They're holding rallies in support of USAID, and maybe they're getting paid to do that. I don't know by USAID, whoever's left.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, who gives a shit? Like, who gives a shit about this? It's crazy. Like, but I also want to say about USAID is that the way that people are buying into the premise of some of this stuff, where either on the right or on the left, or whatever, like, oh, this heralds they're tearing down the pillars of U.S. imperialism. It's like, no, bitch, just stop looking at what Elon is fucking tweeting about, okay? Stop getting your news from Elon Musk and listen to what they're saying. Like, they're not getting rid of USAID. They are streamlining it and reabsorbing it under the State Department. I mean, this is literally what they just said. This is in Politico.
In Politico?
Listen, two incoming Trump administration officials familiar with the matter said the president's team is exploring subsuming, what I just said, the agency into the State Department. Because one, newsflash, you can't get rid of USAID despite what Trump tweets.
They might still do it, but yeah.
No, it's a congressional... Look, I'm saying what they are doing is centralizing power, and instead of having what they deem a unresponsive rogue agency, they're just moving it under the State Department, under the executive, so that it has more executive control. It's not, look, this is Rubio, CNN. There are things that USAID, that we do through USAID, that we should continue to do, that we will continue to do. This is not about ending the programs that USAID does per se. Right? It's important to, it's because what is presented in this culture war bullshit that is being fed to you is like, taking on the deep state, or, oh no, dismantling this horrible thing. It's like, no, yes and no, right? This isn't like stripping away and tearing down as much as they are consolidating, restructuring, streamlining under the unitary executive.
Yeah, I mean, that seems so clear to me. And it's I just want to say for like the people, like USAID does a thing where they like actually do provide things that are good for the world, right? But then they also do things very famously that are like essentially like CIA.
Well, I think
style
usually
activities.
what they do is the good stuff for the world is the cover for the other stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Whether that is like just like dispensing, being like the biggest distributor of HIV medication in Africa becomes cover for other clandestine activities.
Yep.
And shoring up and, you know, I don't know what other kind of like
It's-
crazy spice
well,
stuff they're
it's-
doing.
I mean,
or it's like for a fucking like gay dance troupe in Belarus, which becomes cover for whatever color revolution people want to throw. Like,
Exactly.
of course. What are you, fucking idiot?
Yes, I mean, there's a reason that
Why is this new? This
that
isn't new.
These fucking pieces of shit Democrats who are protesting outside the USAID office. And listen, if you're a Democrat whose constituency is largely federal workers, listen, I get it. You got to secure the bag. You got to go out there and be like, don't fire my people who vote for me. But like these people out there, you got to listen to what they're saying. They're saying us. USAID shutting down is leaving room for China. Well, guess what? China builds things. You don't build things. You don't do that.
No,
China builds things.
You just do things.
And I say, God bless them. God bless them for doing that. Because it's the U.S. Yeah, it's ridiculous and it's crazy. Like this is the hill that they're going on. But also I agree. Like I don't think. There's a lot of people who want Trump to be this based anti-imperialist. And like Trump sometimes accidentally does things that are okay. Trump often also does things that are fucking horrible. And like trying to like nothing bothers me. I talked about this a lot during the beginning of the show because that was when Trump was still president. But and then he stopped being president. And I've talked about it over the years a couple times. But the notion that Trump is this peace guy who just wants peace and just wants peace. He fucking killed Soleimani. I don't know what to tell you there. He assassinated alongside Israel Qasem Soleimani, a hero to many. I take no position on it because I'm liberal. But it is just like people just eat shit over and over. I mean, so yeah, I think a lot of this too is like Trump is at war with the institutions.
Well, he's just trying to. It's like every other move he's making. It's shoring up loyalty among all of the agencies that were hostile to Trump, consolidating under the executive so you can redirect their efforts. Like this is what he's doing at USAID. This is what they're doing at all of the other agencies, and this is very much what Elon Musk is doing with Doggy.
Fantastic transition.
Welcome to Doggy-stan.
I think we just got to get this out here right now. I think the average Republican is maybe dumber than any human being that has ever existed in human history.
Yeah. It's shocking to me how stupid. Well, we didn't even mention with the USAID stuff. I mean, we were talking about it before we started recording, but like the fucking Huberman guy. I love that I can't say his name normal. Huberman coming online. Going online and being like, oh my God, like USAID is funding the New York Times.
If true, this is shocking.
If true, this is shocking. It's like, bitch, it's not true. You fucking meathead.
Well, I said if true. So if you say that I'm wrong, I just said if true, that means I can get. I'm sorry. But we know that like operators like
for brains.
Former naval intelligence Jack Posobiec, who I met and who was wearing tight pants with a visible semi-erection outside of the men's room at the Trump rally in Philadelphia, and I wore a shirt that said I was gay on it, and he gave me a very close, tight side hug. Jack Posobiec and all these kind of other operators, we know that they're operators, right? So like they're spreading like bullshit on purpose. But the thing is like. Musk is genuinely stupid. And I'm sick of people telling me that Elon Musk isn't stupid. Musk is very clearly somebody who has trouble discerning. Like,
it's crazy that people don't think he's stupid.
I mean,
Did you
Trump,
not listen to our podcast?
Well, it's just first
you
of
can
all,
be cunning and a fucking moron.
like Elon Musk is genuinely like, okay, maybe he is good at some things, or actually, I think it's just like he gets manic, but like he's obviously very stupid. I don't know what to tell you. He's very stupid. There are things that Elon Musk believes that like a 12-year-old, if you showed it to them and were like, is this true? Would be like, no, that's obviously not true. Elon Musk believes everything that he sees. He is stupid. He is somebody who is so blinded by his own bullshit that he can't tell what's fucking 2 inches in front of his face. The USAID thing, the Politico thing, I think is going to break me. So I remember
That was fucking crazy.
So no fans of Politico. I'm no fan of any outlet except for ours because we're small businessmen and we're damn swim with the sharks here. But Politico offers like a pro subscription, much like the Africa Intelligencer we tried to get somebody to give us which by the way, we were never able to get. But like when we were trying to get an article from Africa Intelligencer, it's $10,000 a year for that. And there's like really in-depth intelligence articles. Or something like Bloomberg Terminal, obviously different than Politico Pro, but it's the same kind of thing. It's like 4 corporations and 4
enterprise information.
Yes, and so
B2B SaaS.
It's B2B SaaS. It's B2B SaaS.
It isn't, but I was going to say that anyway.
It's so important. Which, by the way, if you work on B2B SaaS and you're listening to this, I'm sorry, I don't mean you. But all of your coworkers and everybody in your field. I hope you are literally roasting on a spit on fucking Turk and Taylor within a week. Fuck you. You are ruining this fucking world. I hate you. But all these people believe anything. And so like we have this environment on the internet where Ian Miles Chong, a porcine Malaysian who has never set foot in America or probably on a damn treadmill, like finding like viral tweets and reposting them and being like, look, the like Politico is funding Gamergate. There's an anti-Gamergate article in Politico. And the U.S. government is funding Politico. So, like, the U.S. government's funding Gamergate. And then that coming down to, like, people like...
Oh, my God, give it a fucking rest.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you were involved in Gamergate...
Do any of these people fucking move on from anything?
I didn't even know I could say this right now.
No, you can't. Don't say it.
Commit.
I don't want to...
Commit.
Just commit. Stop
Commit. Commit it.
Just stop it.
Commit it. Commit it.
No, this
to
is
yourself.
It is a fucking like warlord wasteland informational economy that we are living in.
I hope that every single video game from now to the end of time allows you to make your fucking character transgender. I hope that every single video game is literally every character is black or Asian or a woman or fucking whatever. Gamers, you deserve to suffer. Except for those who would be in my constituency if I run for public office, in which case I will listen to your concerns about minority representation in video games, because if you feel it doesn't represent your experience in this world, perhaps we can create you a boutique video game. I'm telling you this. These people Elon Musk... So, like, Elon is getting ideas from Ian Miles Chong, who is getting ideas from, like, viral tweets on his tweet deck that he finds, and then implementing them. And one of those things is, like, for some reason, all these people think that we're funding Politico, even though it's just, like, the U.S. government's various people within the government. They think it's USAID literally giving Politico millions of dollars in grants.
Like, they think that, but then they also, like, want to think that because the incentives of this fucking website are, oh, I find something shocking and it goes viral and it doesn't fucking matter if it's real or not. And actually now I believe my own bullshit because that's how I can bring myself to commit to doing this over and over and over again.
Yes, and you get paid for it now.
And you get fucking paid, not just in social credit or New York Times style profiles, but in actual doggy dollars.
Yes. So now there is a not official government agency, a special government employee named Elon Musk, who is renamed the digital service after a meme coin. The meme coin is called Dogecoin.
It's doggy. Let's just call it doggy.
It's fucking doggy. We're saying right now, TrueAnon Style Guide is fucking doggy.
Yeah. No, I mean,
we can't lose it completely.
I have to hand it to them on this, right? So doggy, like you said, it's established by executive order. It's a restructure of an Obama era agency, the U.S. Digital Service, right? Now, the USDS was created by Obama to be like, we got to make, Obama's a very tech guy, tech president, tech, that was our future. Silicon Valley, we love him. This was to make government software better. Now, Trump's lawyers, which is an important distinction, renamed it United States Doggy Service, which is literally USDS. This is how they get around any kind of appropriations fight from Congress, right? Because it's the same thing. But it's not. Is it? But it's not. So it's classified as temporary, which also gets him around some potential lawsuits about congressional oversight. every agency gets a little doggy team, which is an engineer, a lawyer, an HR, and like a team lead or something.
Commissar.
They're basically fucking commissars. And that's to help them with quote unquote software modernization stuff. Now, I think anyone following this story knows that's not what they're doing, but that's what the cover is. It's all really legally airtight.
You think so?
I do. These guys are fucking smart.
Yeah.
They're really smart and they know what they're doing. And so, they've gone in a lot of steps. I think today they're now at the CFPB. They're going to Social Security. I mean, it's like out of a fucking movie. These like doggy hit squads going to the federal bureaucracy to just like annoy people and like tap on computers. But one of the things they're also doing is that it's been rolled up and restructured under the USDS, under the executive, which means they report to Susie Wiles. And so they're under the executive office rather than OMB. This is important. 404 Media pointed this out. And this is important because it means that they are not subject to FOIA records. Mm-hmm. And so, again, all of this is thanks to our beautiful legal system. This is not illegal. I think a lot of that is very frustrating to people who are like, wait, you can't just do that. No, they can.
Yeah, you can just do things.
You can just do things, and they are. There was also a really important but little remarked upon OPM order that went out this week. I've been trying to follow this stuff because it's tough, again, in the like insane, meathead, perverse, informational atmosphere, ecosystem, whatever, that we find ourselves in, to like actually find out what's going on. And it's very helpful to actually read what people say and memos that get put out, right? They moved all CIOs at OPM, which are chief information officers across agencies, from basically career reserved to what are called general employees. And the reason that this is like important is that all general employees can be like, that position can be filled by anybody. Career reserved has to be like, that means that those have to be filled by impartial career appointees within the bureaucracy. So this is like when, I don't know how much, it's been so many years since we've been covering these people. So I don't know how much we got into it when we were talking about Moldbug and Peter Thiel and all these guys. I don't know if we've ever talked about Adrian Vermeulen or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Vermeulen?
I think he's at Yale Law now. Maybe he's at Harvard, but he's a legal professor who is kind of an architect of, I guess you would say, he used to work primarily with Cass Sunstein, funny enough, who was Obama's guy.
You said Sunstein, but it's
Sunstein. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, a really good Freudian slip there.
Yeah.
But he's sort of a legal architect for how, I guess you would say, it's not really unitary executive theory. It's a little bit different, but it's a really like whittling down of the bloat of the federal bureaucracy and moving things and kind of like legal justifications for moving basically everything under the directive of the executive. And almost in a weird way, I'm not going to lie, like architecting an executive party in a lot of ways. Okay. I'm just going to put that aside, but I do want to like maybe let that linger a little bit. So anyway, it makes it so the CIOs, these are guys that are making policy decisions. This is what the memo argues, to go back to it. Policy decisions that focus on machine learning, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, all of the stuff that the USDS, which is the United States Doggy Service, is focused on, right? Mm-hmm. So it makes it so that all CIOs don't have to be career appointees, don't have to be career federal employees, right? Bureaucrats have gone up the ranks, all of this kind of bullshit, which people I don't think know very much about, but that is how very much of the federal bureaucracy works.
Yeah.
Or used to. But it makes it so that they can be tech industry, Musk adjacent, whatever.
Cracked.
Yes.
You're gonna be fucking cracked.
So super similar to the people that are staffing up Doggy, who are what? Grapers?
Yeah. Groypers. Correct. I mean, one of the it's just today actually. Elon Musk has now brought back on board a Groyper who was fired from Doggy after tweets he made 6 weeks ago, saying that to normalize Indian hate, and it was presumably, funnily enough, in response to Vivek Ramaswamy's comment.
Wait, say his name.
Vivek Ramaswamy's comments about the white man
really
being a
gets me.
bum, which were, by the way, correct, which is why a lot of the anyways. He was fired, and then after Wall Street Journal report on it, and then JD Vance is like, you know what? Everyone makes mistakes.
Fuck off.
It was
You know
6
what?
weeks ago.
Well, no, but all of the Republicans are like, he was when he was 15.
Hey, cancel
He's
culture.
25.
Cancel culture was defeated at the ballot box.
It was defeated at the ballot box.
So
It
we
was.
can't do anything now.
But this is the thing. Usha Vance, if you're listening to this, first of all, in terms of Indian women, I'm no disrespect. We're subcontinental women because I'm not sure where everyone's from, but we're all one race, the human race. Huma is hotter than you. But Usha, you are kind of fine yourself. You do not have to tolerate this. Your husband is like, oh, this guy's like, fuck Indians? All good, bring him back. Your wife is Indian, bro. Or whatever.
It
Which
doesn't
one?
matter. They don't care.
It's like, how are you? Stick up for your wife, you fucking little moron. And so Elon did one of his stupid Twitter polls, which
I
100,000.
hate the way he talks. I hate the way
Vox
he talks.
Populi,
so much.
Vox Dei.
Vox Populi, Vox Pop Day, Vox Day.
But
But that's the thing is, that's what's so fucking crazy to me. First of all, half of the fucking racist accounts that have made Elon racist on Twitter are Indian, like, bot accounts that I just, like, repost, like, fight videos between white and black people in order to get engagement from other blue checks and get more money. And I'm sorry, probably feed your family, but no, we have to, it's just, these people, so all of like, for what we know is a lot of the doggy people are young, cracked engineers or groypers that have been found from, I don't know what, Peter Thiel's fucking Rolodex of guys to molest. And no, but I'm just kidding. This is a comedy podcast, and I don't mean that. I'm talking about a different Peter Thiel, not the Peter Thiel that's famous. I'm talking about a different Peter Thiel that I know in my real life. Spelled differently, too. But they're like 19, 20 years old, 22 years old. They're like, oh, this guy deciphered a scroll. This guy
he should be in charge of the treasury.
Oh, he was really good in my computer science class. He did the project at the last minute.
Yeah.
These people are fucking morons. Can you imagine being like, oh, this kid was like, did this like obsolete thing that no one can. We should, that if you can demonstrate a really crazy skill, it means you should have all the power.
Yeah, he reversed the binary tree on the whiteboard.
I'm just
Give
like,
him the fucking.
These people, it's like they think everything should be the gladiator fucking rules.
It's code golf.
It's absurd.
I mean, my
It's a fucking kid.
My thing is this, though, Liz. At the end of the day, I'm jealous, and I'm genuinely like, I'm gonna just put this out there. I really am just jealous because think of if Bernie had won, how little of like this actual like radical restructuring I think would actually get done, and like there is a certain like will here, and you can just do things here that is missing from so many people that are so afraid.
Well, it's true, and we're saying this, but I think before we started recording, I can't remember, but like this desire for someone to do something has been latent across the political spectrum, whether it's been coming from the left or the right, and here's a fucking black pill. Trump is acting like FDR.
Yeah.
Like, you might not like it, but that's what peak performance looks like. And he is doing things and acting like FDR, which has been the call from the liberal left since before we started this podcast of what the return to a social democratic executive would look like. Newsflash, that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. This is what consolidating power and using it looks like. And it's why you see... One, I think the left basically asleep at the wheel, and centrist liberal pundits fucking glazing Trump's dick because allegiance literally does emanate from raw power.
Yes, it does. It does. And that is something that I think is, I don't know what it is, but I've met a lot of very weak people on the left. They as in the parlance of the times, a weak aura. And like, even our like leaders in some cases, like Bernie Sanders, right? Like, could you imagine Bernie having the fucking cojones to do anything that's like actually? And I'm talking about his whole thing is this isn't radical. This isn't radical. Well, that may be true. Unfortunately, it is true. But like, I think a lot of people do want, there's a mistake a lot of people made where like everyone's a radical socialist or whatever. Like everyone's secretly a radical socialist. We just got to tell them about it. Actually, no, you were probably in the least class just country. Well, in the way that you might want it to be on earth. But like, it's actually people are just radicals
Very, like,
and want
middle-class
something
conscious
done.
country.
I know.
Well, that's the other thing you see from the Democrats. I see this is they're like, sir, nobody voted for Elon Musk, sir. And I'm like, babe, I think they did.
They fucking
He
did.
was on TV. He was campaigning
He
next to
basically
Trump.
ran a parallel campaign where he had his own rallies.
I
know?
think that people did vote for Elon Musk.
Yes. Like, and like, this is what I like. I've said this I think very like 5 years ago when we started the show. It's like, we need a Hugo Chavez, you know? And I love Hugo. And I just recently reread this really long book. I don't remember what it's called, but it's just a book-long interview with Hugo Chavez. And you can see in him, I mean, there's a humbleness in him that is completely missing from everybody involved in it. A humor and a good set. I mean, you can tell he's a good man. But these people, and I don't agree with his politics. I don't agree with anyone's politics. I'm not political, except for liberalism. But like Hugo Chavez, like that is somebody who is like, I am like, we are taking power, right? Like this is happening. And I have the will to it. And this is something you hear on the right so much is about a will to power. And funnily enough, none of the people who talk about that can do
That's
it.
because it's Chat GPT.
I know, but
Nietzsche.
but these people, I know it is ChatGPT Nietzsche, and but like someone like Musk or someone like Trump is like can do this, isn't afraid to do this.
Yeah,
and
they're
like,
fucking doing it.
And all these little lefty freaks are living in fear of their own shadows and everything else. And it's just, I'm jealous because I wish genuinely that I had an administration that I agreed with that went into the federal government and sent commissars into every single agency and was like, you're done. This is cut. We're not doing this. This is rearranged. You're done. You're all fired. We're shutting this down. You're fucked. We're putting you in prison. The press is, we're fucking you. We're fucking you. We're fucking you. We're fucking you. And that's what people are afraid of. They don't want to be, I mean, it's just I want to be the one that's fucking you, not you, listener, to be clear, but you as in the, And so I'm jealous, and I'm not afraid to admit that. And I think it takes actually a strong man to admit that. So what is the point of this, Liz? Why are all the zoomies in here?
I mean, they're fucking cutting everything. They're cutting everything. I mean, you said it. They're consolidating, but they're cutting. And it's funny because for as much as like Elon and all of these like tech guys, I'm thinking about Andreessen specifically, that they like believe in tech and engineering and all of it. They're like basically too dumb, I think, to know how that gets done in this country because they've cut everything. NSF, NOAA, like all of it is being cut, and it is going to cause a massive brain drain. And I think that like it's going to quicken the pace of everything that's already happening that they don't realize they are complaining about the effects from, right? Like there is zero future for any STEM in America without the paltry funding that we already have in place for it. Like there will not be scientists, engineers, all the people that make all of the stuff that the morons like cobble together in their AI-assisted utopian fantasies. It's like not going to be in America because you will not fund it anymore.
Yeah.
The only STEM we have in this country, by the way, that comes from these like tech overlords is like crypto scams, tech prodigies who peak in high school, and rent-seeking influencers. Like that is what we make, right? Zoomer scam culture is coming from inside the house. And it's crazy because like they want to come in and cut out all of this bloat that they think is in the federal government. They have been doing that since the 80s, by the way. Like we have completely like all of this stuff. I was like going through this, right? The total amount of federal employees in 2023 is lower than the total amount in 1975. 2025 is lower than 1980. But yes, let's keep cutting them and replacing them with unaccountable contractors. Let's keep cutting them and privatizing more and more and more and more. And then let's complain when we're all like drooling morons who can't read, think, act, or build anything. Like these people are fucking morons.
I mean, like... it's funny because like I don't know what Elon is stupid. I mean that in a real way. I think Elon is actually genuinely unintelligent in a way that like if you tried to hire somebody like Elon at your company that you have, perhaps this small business, you'd be like, oh, I think I might have to hire you because you might qualify for some stuff, but I can't hire you because you're fucking dumb. Like I think Elon like half remembers like little memes or like short video clips that he's seen of like libertarian thinkers or whatever, like Rothbard, etc. And is like approaching it from that perspective. But like one thing that does sort of strike me about all of this is it really, I mean, you mentioned this like a couple of weeks ago, I think, to me, is that like they all seem to want to puppet Trump in the same way that Biden was sort of puppeted by these liberals.
Yeah, the liberals are jealous. We're jealous of Trump, and Trump was jealous of having a Sleepy Joe Sleepy Joe waking corpse that they could like reanimate to do whatever they wanted.
Exactly. And I think so you see like the Rufos here who like are jealous of this like large civil society kind of like web that the libs have created. Even though like, dude, you work for the Manhattan Institute. Like,
I know.
Bro,
I'm
you're
like,
part of
what
that.
the fuck could you want? You have Atlas Network money.
I think they genuinely are like, we want Hollywood or whatever. Like we want, but like, don't you guys have like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't get
this
it.
Is all like this is so outside of like my like realm of contact that I've had with humanity. You know what I mean? Like it's just I like the world of like all these NGOs and shit is just thank God I've never had any fucking truck with it. I think it makes you fucked up in the brain. But like you have guys like Rufo who basically want to do what they accuse USAID of doing, but for themselves. And then you have guys like Musk who I'm like, I don't really know what he wants, except I think he might think that like downsizing just means good. And like downsizing government is good and slashing regulations is good because that is a good thing. That is an end of itself. And then Trump, who is like preening, right? Like Trump just wants Trump. And so like you have these like, and I'm sure that other sort of factions will develop as well or make themselves known. And it's funny because they all do kind of like, and maybe they all will. Maybe there will be sort of a spoils thing that happens here and everyone will get their little wish. But really it is just like, we're going to get the crypto, we're going to get the downsized bureaucracy, we're going to get like the right wing, I don't know what, PBS or something. And we're going to get the Gaza Trump Hotel.
It's tough because I do think that there are like a lot of very strange internal contradictions and like coalition tensions within the Trump government. And I've been trying to kind of like do some game theory about some of the stuff that they are, because I do think like, yes, there is the obvious classic libertarian, classic Reaganite, like, Reagan 2.0, we just need to like, how much more can we like strip away of the federal government and enrich ourselves? How much more, how many more regulations can we strip away, blah, blah, blah. And so there is that, right? And there is the kind of like, oh, let's get my buddies in here and let's get them rich too. Like, well, how can we get some of that sweet, sweet federal cash? So this is like the classic stuff. But I do think what you're saying about the crank libertarian meme ideology is actually really important because also like Bitcoin kind of factors into that and looms large in this administration, which I fucking
thank you so much for saying that, because I think the question that's been on a lot of listeners' mind during this episode is they hear saying all these words, doggy, various slurs or whatever, talking about races, and they think, but where's the Bitcoin in this?
Well, okay, so I was like thinking about, do you remember how Elon on the campaign trail kept saying, we were like, this is the worst campaign advertisement, but apparently it wasn't, where he was like, oh, pain is coming. Like, if you elect me, there's going to be a depression.
I thought he was doing erotic role play.
Like he kept, I mean, basically we're clearly all fucking masochists, but like he there's a quote from him where he's like, we have to reduce spending to live within our means. And that necessarily involves some hardship. Like I want to set aside difficultly, but we will set aside how insane it is to hear from the world's richest man that we all need to live within our means.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I do think that he doesn't,
bitch.
He's one of those people who doesn't know, like, sometimes when you see live streamers and they're like their live stream room and you're like, aren't you rich? Like, You live like that?
Yeah,
You
I
know, like,
definitely think Elon.
I think
lives
Elon's
that.
like that. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's like his house is full of nothing.
But it's like
trinkets.
his 12 houses. Though.
Yeah, but they're like just filled with trinkets and bullshit. You know,
But then also weirdly like no furniture.
like no furniture.
Which is so weird. It's like, bitch, buy a couch. What's
Yeah,
wrong with
I
you?
know.
But this is also shit that like fucking Peter Thiel's gay ass has been saying for years.
Yeah.
Like back in 2022, he's like,
When we could say that.
you know, he's like, oh, the Bitcoin market, this is the canary in the coal mine. He said it's the most honest market we have in the country. And it's telling us that this decrepit regime is about to blow up. Like what these guys are talking about is the US dollar system. Okay. Now, I feel like commenters kind of often think that Trump is using tariffs. We're entering the zone where Liz is just throwing some shit out there. Okay? I want to be clear. I'm just throwing some shit out there.
Trump style.
You know? It's off the dome. Okay? We're all just thinking out loud. Mm-hmm. Right? You with me? So we often think that Trump is like using tariffs just as a negotiating tactic. I think that's kind of what the market usually thinks. It's why they're always like, it's not really going to do it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
It's
just
priced in.
maximum pressure kind of
It's
shit.
priced
Yeah,
in.
Priced in.
Totally. So it's like, okay, I think that's true, but also maybe not the whole story. So Stefan Miran, who is Trump's nominee for the chair of the Council of Economic Advisors, which is like it's like the president's like little coterie of like his own personal economists.
You call it the synagogue in private conversation.
So Stephen Miran, he published it was after the election, and he published this note, kind of an investment note, that was like a user's guide to restructuring the global trading system. And in it, I swear to God, you guys, this is true. In it, he describes what he calls the Mar-A-Lago Accords.
You fuck my wife and I fuck yours.
Basically, no, it's modeled after. They say it's modeled after the previous like global currency accords, like the Plaza Accords, which is during Reagan, and that the Mar-a-Lago Accords would basically use tariffs as leverage to kind of bring all of the countries under the U.S. security umbrella, from vassal state to far colony, right? Bring them all under to come to the big Trump gold negotiating table. And the U.S. then would offer trade relief and security guarantees so long as other countries agreed to appreciate their currency against the dollar, right? So it's a way to force devaluing the dollar, putting a gun to other countries' heads, right? Before we move forward with this thought exercise, which it is, I do want to say that I do think that there's like, I think there's factions. There are like ideological factions within the Trump umbrella.
Yeah, I think so too.
So you've got the like Vance, kind of Vance, although he's the squirrely one. Let's say the MAGA technocrats, right? They want the dollar to have kind of less important in global finance because they believe a weak dollar will like magically reindustrialize the country.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then you've got the kind of like classic chauvinist ones that want a strong dollar because they want to use military force and sanctions to enforce strong dollarism in some sort of like vulgar kind of classic Wolfowitz way against BRICS. And this is all as a way of making America more competitive with China.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
two different
yeah.
approaches.
I mean, that is. I will say that both of the unified orientation that kind of everybody has is an anti-China unity.
Yes. Which is maybe a point that we should insist on as like a point of differentiation, perhaps. Just throwing it out there. But without getting into the weeds, I do want to say that the Plaza Accords, like they sort of tried to do this while working within the American financial system, and in doing so exported an asset bubble to Japan, which wrecked their economy, right? So don't need to get in the weeds, but during the Plaza Accords, like U.S. bankers and the government basically pressured Japan to deregulate their economy by heavily investing in U.S. markets rather than domestic ones. And that then caused a huge bubble which crashed the Japanese economy while at the same time lowering the dollar, right? And to be clear, that was by design. It was politically strategic as much as it was financially beneficial. And I would say that now the angle is the same, right? Who can we weaken to benefit us which will thereby weaken our enemies.
Yeah.
And so I think this is where Europe comes in, which is crazy because she's down bad
Europe.
already. It's
She
not
hasn't
great.
been doing well. She's the Europe itself is now the sick man of Europe, except for who's the Ozempic guys? Denmark?
Yes.
Denmark's doing okay, but everyone else
Not if we take her Greenland.
not if we take her Greenland. No, because that's where the Ozempic mines are. But no, I mean, like literally Denmark is kept afloat because of Ozempic. Everybody else, I hate to say it, you're not doing so great.
So, I mean, we know that, this is sort of kind of extending a general state orientation that we saw during the Biden admin. But also, I think that the way to think about Trump is kind of putting a lot of this stuff in overdrive, as Trump likes to do, and also surrounding himself with like crank populist libertarian guys. So if you want to relieve the pressure of extremely regressive and painful domestic reforms that you're passing, and kind of maintain some semblance of being able to assert unipolar American power internationally, a way to do that would be, and I'm just throwing this out there because, again, little game theory, make Europe swallow the cost of reconstruction of Ukraine, which would probably be about like $600 billion. But while, U.S. private equity firms are already all up in there and have secured every level of the Ukrainian economy. Don't worry.
Don't you worry.
Don't you worry.
We're getting ours there.
2, force European countries to increase defense spending to pay for the U.S. defense shield, which Trump has already said, right? 3, pass tariffs to offset the deficits with China by means of like reducing the deficits with the EU, UK. So you encourage then the EU to offshore production to the United States, which we did see symbolically, quasi-symbolically in Trump 1. Remember when he passed those tariffs and fucking LVMH opened a factory in Texas?
Yeah.
So that encourages them to basically liquidate what's left of their productive base. Then you freeze the conflict with Russia and force Europe to continue to buy LNG from the U.S., which they're already doing, but to great consternation. And you force them to pass more restrictions on Chinese goods in order to forestall attempts by China to divert its trade from us to other parts of the world, which is already happening. And we can see that, for example, in the auto industry and in the kind of BRICS region. I mean, China completely dominates the auto industry. I think people know that.
Yeah, but also, like, I will say with European orientation towards China and the U.S., like the Europeans have kind of come out with some pretty pro-China statements in recent days too, because I think they sense which way the wind is blowing here.
Well, that's what's really interesting, right? Because there's a lot of Macron has kind of been leading this.
Yeah,
as like Europe, she doesn't know what to do. She's lost. She's unmoored.
Mm-hmm. Like Spain all those many years ago unmoored, I would say.
And Macron has come out and been, you hear a lot of kind of like classic sort of like Western civ language from these guys where like, we need to take the mantle of Western civilization. Like we are Europe.
We need to destroy le wokisme. Le wokisme must be destroyed and we need to, you're never going to retake that mantle, by the way.
No, never.
Never.
But they're trying. And what they're saying is, do we go with the UK and hitch our wagon to the US? Which is also turning into the UK, by the way. Newsflash. Us. The Britification. LaRouche was right. Or do we like try to assert a new way and Europe assert her independence? And so far that hasn't been going great. We blew up Nord Stream. So you gotta get the gas from us. And the thing is, too, at the same time, like a lot of these policies that the U.S. might force Europe to adopt would also accelerate the rise of the far right and expedite the collapse of the center left and liberal parties, which would, I think, some people in the Trump admin would be stoked about.
Can you even expedite it? It seems like it's just coming like very soon now.
Sure.
Anyways, like it doesn't seem like you would even need to do that.
So, I mean, all of these things would reduce price pressure on the exchange rate, which would like neutralize some of the impact of the tariffs on US living standards. And I think that's important to call out because we often forget this, but a lot of times foreign policy is an outworking of domestic issues.
Yeah.
Right? And so, I mean, the Trump coalition, you know, it has a lot of internal contradictions that it has to kind of hold together and appease in a lot of ways. And so, you know, you've got this like neocon, neolib faction that's bought his administration, which is like Adelson and Musk. I don't know what people think Musk is, but that's absolutely what he is. And it's at odds with the MAGA coalition. And you see that one with the shit that Steve Bannon says, right? Where he's like, we got to get these guys out. Or with, remember we were talking about the Ramaswamy controversy where like MAGA wants to lower immigration as a, like in order to push up middle class incomes.
Yeah.
And these guys are like, no, we're going to have like, unlimited skilled immigration. Like, what are you fucking talking about?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of think of it this way, right? Like incomes risk further pressure thanks to high immigration that Musk and everyone else wants, plus tariffs, right? Because that'll eat away at your income. And so it makes it even more important that imports do not become more expensive and that you don't let the current account deficit kind of like deteriorate further. So you have to protect the exchange rate in order to moderate import prices. Because I think people know this, right? But the U.S. imports like everything.
Yeah.
We are the consumer
Everyone
of the
knows
world.
that. Everyone knows
okay.
that, yes.
So in a way, this is like how Trump would triangulate and do this sort of like delicate dance he's got to do to balance his base and the donors that have bought him off.
Mm-hmm.
But like it will cause so much fucking pain. Like Elon was right when he said that, you know? And the other level of this that makes it funky is that within this coalition, he's got the crank gold bugs. Those guys you mentioned with the memes.
Well, listen. My question is this, Liz. When I see a piece of gold, shiny, malleable, perhaps
Not really malleable.
gold is malleable.
Like at a certain heat, you mean?
No, you can
That's why you bite the
gold.
coin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You get a little indentation on there. You don't have much experience with gold, do you?
No, do you? I think you guys do. That's weird.
You have gold madness.
I'm not gonna-
wearing it.
You have gold fever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have gold. Okay, well, obviously you weren't getting paid by USAID in gold bars like I was. But no, I mean, I love gold. So my question is, I see gold and I'm like, this is obviously worth money because it's gold. But then they tell me that money now is just some numbers on a ledger. And so what I don't understand, because that doesn't seem to be worth anything to me because that's just numbers and money in a vault that might not even exist. And so I'm like, there's a reason that Fort Knox has all the gold in it, or it's empty now, who knows? But
They're going to find out.
we're going to find out. We're going to crack that motherfucker open. But like gold is
Send in
real and
Geraldo.
money seems fake. Does that make sense to you?
No, it's not. It's all fake.
It's all
babe.
fake?
I mean, look, yes, we have
Judith Butler-esque. It's real. Gold's real.
all currency is created off of computers.
Except for gold.
Gold is not a currency.
In the places I go,
You should take gold to the corner store. You should take gold to...
And they would be like, oh my God. Liz, play that out in your fucking head. What happens if I take a fucking bar of gold to the corner store and I'm like, give me this La Croix? He's like, sir, gold?
He would be like, yes, here's one La Croix.
And I go, "Bing, bing, 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 bing." I flip him a coin. You don't know.
No, but no, you are correct. We have a fiat currency. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a fiat currency. The US dollar is a free floating currency. So its price is relative to other currencies, and that's determined by the foreign exchange market. Is that what you're talking about?
So, to translate this for normal people, it's money that's worth nothing that people just say is worth something.
No, it's
But gold, on the other hand, is worth something because it's shiny. But yeah, no, fiat. I know what fiat currency is, Liz. Jesus Christ.
But why are you doing this?
I'm not doing this. I really do believe this. But no, but go on.
No. Well, you should join the Trump admin because you seem to love it. and you love gold.
Marx believed
And
this,
so do all of these fucking morons that want to destroy our beautiful country. So I think something that's like, I've been thinking about this a lot though. Like, I do think that Trump is like kind of a funny anachronism, which is maybe why he's such a perfect figure for what I believe to be a very transformative period in American history that we are living in.
Mm-hmm.
But
The
he's like,
transition from fake money to gold.
no, he's like of a kind of like different time. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he himself is like been reanimated by internet meme forces that he doesn't fully control or understand, but he has just become this like body of the meme spirit.
Yeah, it's
You know?
it's necromancy meme magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like in that way, a lot of his ideas are equally like of a different time. And so I think that a lot of influence from this sort of libertarian, populist, quote unquote, hard money crowd.
Real money
No,
crowd.
gold buggery. I mean, it boils down to, it's like they all think that government money creation is inherently inflationary, but then somehow like private money creation, private credit creation isn't, which like, I don't know how they square that. The other thing they believe is that the trade deficit is unsustainable, right? They think it's like there's this imbalance, it's taking away jobs, you know, it's ruining output, and this is unsustainable. You hear it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Why they think this, I don't know. But it is the biggest bugbear that you will hear from the right.
The trade deficit thing has come up a lot. I mean, alongside especially the balanced budget stuff.
Oh my God. Well, we talked about that with the Koch. Okay. Do you remember that we did episodes on the Koch brothers?
Yes, I do.
It's
'Cause I
crazy
ended
because
up-
I forgot.
Yeah, we've done so many episodes.
We talked about that and how these guys are obsessed with the balanced budget.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all back.
Yeah, it's so back. I mean, it's literally Musk's major thing. It's like we need
Yes.
a balanced budget.
Which is fucking crazy.
But I'm like, dude, but your company, Twitter, X, the Everything app, your budget is balanced because your other company, XAI, pays exorbitant fees to Twitter for the data from that.
These people think that if you have a balanced budget, then everything, the market will handle everything perfectly. They don't understand what the federal government does and what the federal government funds. What they want is stuff that was funded by the federal government, but they
Yeah.
cannot put that fucking together. They're like, oh man, remember how fucking great it was when the Manhattan Project, we were all like coming together. Bitch, who do you think funded that? Like, what do you think was happening? It's so crazy to me that they cannot. What a balanced budget would do is put handcuffs on everything and force us into an austerity doom loop.
Yeah, but maybe they want that.
Well, they might. So it's funny because Scott Bessent, who's the Secretary of Treasury, I think he's been confirmed. I can't fucking keep track, but he's the nominee or
He
he's
said
been
he got
confirmed.
circumcised today.
I think he's confirmed. He said that a new Bretton Woods is coming. There was an interview with him after the election. He said a new Bretton Woods is coming and he wants to be a part of it. So I'm guessing he knows a little something about the Mar-A-Lago Accords. So if we were to piece together what these guys want and how that would go, this is what it would. You get step one. We're doing lots of steps today. I hope people are taking notes. I sure am. Step one, you shock the global system with universal tariffs, forcing all trading partners to reduce reliance on the dollar, right? Then, as countries pivot from the dollar, the U.S. immediately cuts spending and hikes tariffs in an effort to stop the inflationary risk. Stave off any kind of hyperinflation doom scenario, right? Then you impose capital controls and whatever other taxes you want to get people to liquidate U.S. assets, which would immediately destabilize faith in U.S. markets and dollar transactions. Then you do, this is what they want to do, I swear to God, a hard money reset
Hard money reset.
with a new regime, which would be, and this is, I'm going to quote them from their papers, gold or partially gold, partially commodity-backed system.
You know it's coming here. You know it ain't going to be
We're
gold,
going to circle
baby.
back, okay? We're going
Yeah.
to circle back. So this would be in a big Bretton Woods meets Palm Beach conference, right?
But maybe on
And
the
then I'm just going to
blockchain.
say step 5 is question mark, reindustrialize. Like, I don't know what, babe, that ship has sailed. You need to let it go. That
You can
ship has
literally-
sailed.
We can only reindustrialize in America with an economy that is run along, let's say, more rational lines.
It will take much more than a 5-year plan, I'll put it that way, to reindustrialize this country.
Yeah, you're right. We can do it in 4. I
No,
swear to God, we
it's-
can do it in 4.
I don't think people understand. And also, I don't think they know what they're up against with China.
Well, we empty the cities. Well,
Because
first of all,
do
no, we
people
ally
know that,
with China.
like, China also, one of the reasons why they're so competitive. Here's a perfect example. Let's talk about, we were talking about cars, right? Auto market.
Mm-hmm.
They are really competitive in the auto market because they actually own every single part of their supply chain.
Yes, it's not a globalized supply chain.
So they have not just, they make EVs, but they also make the EV batteries, but then
Yeah.
they also own the EV chemical,
And the mines that, if the rare earth
right?
minerals, yeah.
And so this gives them incredible control over prices.
Yeah.
And also directing state capacity.
Yeah.
Not
What's al-
only that,
Yeah.
but EVs in particular is a market that they weren't even in 10 years ago. So they're also opening up new markets, right? That's just one of the many reasons. But also because fucking Germany has deindustrialized,
Yes.
and now they're
Because of wokeness.
because of fucking Wokism.
Der Wokism.
Wait, how would it be in
Der
German?
Der Wokisma. Der Wokisma.
Anyway, the point is, for the U.S. to do that, it would take decades. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why?
Why?
And maybe that's a conversation for another time. But I want to get back to this, setting aside the reindustrialization part. This would make it basically impossible for Congress or the central bank, which is the Fed, to run any kind of deficits or inflate away any debt or intervene within the currency, right? Which I hope people know, even though we have a free-floating currency, there's mechanisms to not do that. It would impose austerity with no way out, which is how Elon put it, which is to, quote, live within our means.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been the libertarian dream. We've talked about this many, many moons ago. And one of the people behind this, networks, is this thing called the Atlas Network. We've mentioned them on a bunch of episodes. I feel like we mentioned them with the Prospera staff and all of the
I think
they
we
are
did.
fucking everywhere. This is an international network that funds and ties together Cato, the Manhattan Institute. They were some of the people that were training the judges in
Brazil.
Brazil before the coup. They backed Milei. These are the people that we're talking about. The last thing I will add, just as I'm trying to kind of piece together some of this, Judy Shelton, who is part of the Atlas Network. By the way, the Atlas Network, yes, it is named after Atlas Shrugged.
Of course.
I
Yes.
have not read that. Because
We've talked about this before, Liz. I can tell you all about Atlas Shrugged. I've read part of it for this show.
It's bad, right?
It's not good.
I feel like I read The Fountainhead, but I can't remember because I was in high school.
You were?
Yes,
So that
I
like 2 or
was
3 years-
15. I was a
2
child.
2 or 3 years ago? 2 or 3 years ago?
The Fountainhead?
No, I was trying to pay you a compliment, Liz.
Oh, I see.
You look 17.
Let's go a little older.
You look 17 and a half.
No, Judy Shelton, who was Trump's pick
Uh-huh.
for Federal Reserve Chair during Trump 1, who is a fucking crank. She's so crazy that I feel like Jamie Dimon intervened on her nomination.
She was like, get this bitch out of here.
And I actually think the only reason her nomination officially her nomination failed was because 2 senators had COVID and they were like, can't come to vote. So it died.
It's crazy you can't send a guy in your place. Right?
I think you
You
can.
can.
I thought you could.
I think you can.
But also during COVID, weren't they like, you could Zoom vote? But the people were like, oh, I can't,
My connection's bad.
But she's a fucking loon. And I just want to play, after the election, she went on CNBC to announce this, which is her plan for a 50-year treasury bond
Oh, yeah?
convertible to gold issued by Trump at the semi-quincentennial.
Well, I like the word radical. It comes from the Latin going to the root. And I think the root of the problem is we haven't had sound finances and sound money from our government. And what I'm proposing is that President Trump authorized the U.S. Treasury to issue a 50-year bond starting on July 4th, 2026. That's going to be a big day for our nation. Maturing on July 4th, 2076, which will be the 300th anniversary of our founding. And that bond should be convertible into gold at the option of the bond holder.
This bitch is crazy. So that is, I want everyone to pay attention to this. The semi-quincentennial is a big deal. It is the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. And they're going to make a big deal out of this. There's going to be a big fucking show the whole year. It's going to be fucking nuts. And this is where I want to bring it back to Doggy, okay? Because we said partially commodity-backed system. Do you remember how Elon was like, the treasury should be on the blockchain?
Oh, yeah. Everything should be on the blockchain. That's what they're all saying now. Everything should be on the blockchain. Every government decision and grant, everything should be on the blockchain.
So there was this like Wall Street Journal op-ed from Paul Ryan, who is a libertarian crank, but also ran for vice president and was Speaker of the House, and also was the like cool guy.
Also got stabbed by his neighbor.
And took photos of himself working out.
Was that Rand
Or no,
Paul?
he was just posing with
the weights.
He was just posing with the weights.
He's like,
yeah. Oh my God. He still exists. And he wrote an op-ed last year called, actually, will you read it, Brace?
Crypto could stave off a U.S. debt crisis. Stablecoins backed by dollars provide demand for U.S. public debt and a way to keep up with China.
So it goes on to argue that the dollar is failing, debt is unsustainable, entitlements need to be cut,
Classic.
but that's not enough. And this is where crypto can be helpful. He says dollar-backed stablecoins are becoming an important net purchaser of U.S. government debt. Now, do you remember who's been buying treasuries?
Yeah, Tether.
Do you remember who is the custodian of Tether?
Isn't one of Howard Lutnick's firms?
Yeah.
And his son was counting their gold bars, or was actually his son was counting their gold bars.
Yes.
In Switzerland.
Yes. Now, this is what he said. Will you read this next part?
Financial authorities in Beijing have made digital currency a pillar of the country's international development strategy and foreign policy. The U.S. can't afford to sit idly as its largest international competitor taps latent demand for safe and convenient digital money. The framework for understanding how the dollar gets its power needs to be updated for a changing world.
So those questions where you're like, I don't understand how the dollar gets its power. We need gold. No, we need e-gold.
Consider an example that highlights a driver of dollar dominance. Say a Japanese company sells a product or service to a customer in Wisconsin. What can the company do with the dollars it receives? Since the early 1970s, it could place them in large, liquid treasury market. The main attraction is that treasury securities have the backing of the world's most dynamic economy. U.S. government debt is, after all, a claim on the future output of America's economy. Setting aside the problems with growing U.S. government debt, of which there are many, the fact that Uncle Sam has been able to sell debt consistently on the international market, often at low rates, is evidence of something important. The rest of the world has an insatiable demand for dollars. There are signs, however, that the status quo could be changing, and fast.
So this echoes what Trump kind of tweeted about BRICS. Do you remember? He sent some crazy tweet out that was I
got it right here. He says the idea that BRICS countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand by and watch is over. We require a commitment from these countries that they will create neither a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty U.S. dollar, or they will face 100% tariffs and should expect to say goodbye to selling into the wonderful U.S. economy. They can go find another sucker. There is no chance that the BRICS will replace the U.S. dollar in international trade, and any country that tries should wave goodbye to America. Tweeted on November 30th, 2024.
Which is right after that statement from Judy Shelton, by the way.
Top replies are from Wall Street Apes and Scott Ritter, who, by the way, if you fell for that scam, I'm sorry, you're a fucking idiot. No disrespect.
So, I think it's fucking crazy, but I also think that everything is fucking crazy right now. And Elon has already suggested replacing USD with Bitcoin. So has Trump.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have to say that that's completely insane, but I'm going to. That's completely insane. And you would think that someone like Jamie Dimon or all the U.S. bankers would intervene to prevent that from happening. I do believe that.
Yeah.
Like, I do think, look, those tariffs against Mexico and Canada lasted all of 0 seconds. They didn't get passed because if a 25% tariff, which he might fucking do it, but a 25% tariff against Mexico and Canada, the pain that U.S. consumers will feel, I don't think people really understand. I don't think it's priced in. Like, you can go back and see, do you remember during Trump 1 when he passed the tariffs on like the washing machines and stuff? There was like washing machine ones and other household goods from China.
Yeah, but I don't buy that stuff because I'm a renter.
So, but he did pass those, and you could see in...
No, sorry, I didn't notice, I'm saying.
Yeah. You could see in the data that like inflation went up, like prices went up considerably, and then a lot of it got masked by COVID fucking depression.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, we import a lot from China, absolutely. But nothing compared to Mexico and Canada. That's like fucking Mexico supplies like 60% of our produce. Like, I don't think that people really understand, let alone all of the different parts and components for everything that we do make or does get made in those countries. Like, everything would be levied.
Yeah.
It's unparalleled. Anyway, my point is, to bring it back to Elon, all of the doggy stuff and the updating every agency and the centralizing and all of this stuff, like, there seems to be some sort of trajectory, like, or horizon point in 2026, because I've heard that out in the world in relation to whatever they want to call AGI, right? Elon is also deploying like AI tools at all of the agencies and getting a lot of people up to speed with whatever they're using there. And I think that plus the streamlining of the federal bureaucracy, plus this insane crank de-dollarization that they want to do, which is basically essentially fucking shock therapy, privatize, immense pain, is all kind of linked. And I like don't know what to do with it. And I don't think that anyone is fucking prepared for any of it.
I'm just like, my thing is this, like, right now we have like a increasingly like a empowered executive. We have a bloated sort of like decadent liberal regime that has been is being annihilated right now and replaced by, like I just said, like this strong executive that is like headed, the lieutenant of it, Musk, is like probably the most powerful capitalist in many ways, who controls directly and with direct intervention one of the most used social media platforms in the US, and like heavily just openly manipulates it as a government employee while he's doing government work. Like, we're talking about like unitary executive control of stuff, like,
on a level I don't think we've ever seen.
No, I mean, since FDR, I guess. But I mean, even then, things were more diffuse because of the technological arrangements. And they're also talking about, I mean, this is why you fucking sucker right-wing morons. This is why. You know what you put in there? You put in fucking the fourth industrial revolution. Fucking, this guy makes brain chips. He makes computers that track your every fucking move. He's making fucking AI. I watched like a talk that Musk himself reposted the other night of him at, I think, West Point, giving this talk about how we need like really strong reindustrialization because we need to make killer robot drones. And I can't predict if those drones will always obey our orders because we'll need to do localized AI in case they get too far away from things. It's like, okay, well, I don't know, I don't know what to tell you. If you hated the liberal regime so much, and the liberal regime, it didn't even matter. It was like Assad, right? It was like it was this thing that like fell in like 8 days because of the hollowness of it. It really fucking was.
Was.
And so much stuff is like that.
That's so crazy. It really is.
It really is. I mean, that's the closest thing you can compare it to. Is just like, it's the blitz towards Damascus.
Fucking Afghanistan.
Yeah, or Afghanistan, exactly. And
The retreat.
and you have these guys who are like I'm sorry, but your fucking Sean McGuire's, your fucking Bill Ackmans, your fucking Elon Musk, when the rubber meets the road, like your based racist bullshit, like they might agree with some of it, but like they are tech first, and that you will be integrated into the cyborg just like every fucking, BLM fucking USAID motherfucker out there. And it's I think that is something that people do not get, and they are being tricked into like, it's just like how all these liberals are like tricked into sort of support, not even tricked, or do just support like these alien regimes because of like this outdated kind of commitment to liberal democracy. So too are like all these new populist movements being like kind of interwoven with this like globalized, which it really is in a lot of ways, like techno-capitalist sort of super state. Once they have AI, AGI, or whatever you think they're fucking trying to create here, like things will change. And I just want you to ask yourself this: do you think they're going to change for you for the better? Because they're obviously not. You have to be a fool to think so. These people are planning to take your jobs. You will own nothing, and fucking you won't even be happy. You're going to own nothing and be pissed off. They're going to take your job. They're going to take your job of fucking everyone, the troops to the truck drivers. They do not have a plan for you.
They'll fucking slurp it up. We're fucking Wally people, but with a Zembic.
Yeah, it's like, if you are so blinded for your fucking hatred of fucking Mexicans that you're like, oh yeah, we're going to put the fucking Neuralink guy in there. I'm sorry, you're a sucker.
Well, it's funny because I do think that Obama was kind of a mirage for a lot of people, a lot of like liberals who thought, it kind of like tricked liberals or the left or whatever we want to say, like that they had institutional advantage in the tech area where reactionaries were way ahead of the fucking game institutionally, and conservatives have a fucking lock on everything. On everything. And I don't know, like, I don't really know where you go from here. Like, I know that's not helpful, but I'm not here to be helpful, I guess. I'm just here to talk. I think that, like, all institutions are basically neutral or hostile to basically all of our goals.
Yeah. I mean, that is true. Literally, like, this is the thing. There's a lot of reflexive institution, sort of defensive institutions from a lot of like leftists.
You're basically forced to, and it's a losing game, my friend.
And like this is just a thing that constantly happens again. It becomes liberal defensism, where you're the little brother in the popular front that you're not even really a part of.
But then at the same time, you have to say, like, it's crazy that the Democrats, they just can't fucking do anything.
They can't do anything.
And I just like, I do think that obviously the information ecosystem favors the Republicans. Because you got people like Rogan, whatever. Anytime they get nervous, they'll just blame the Democrats.
Yeah.
And like the Democrats have to learn how to blame conservatives, and they can't. They can't. And they can't do it without sounding preachy. It's crazy.
Exactly. And they have nothing to offer. And this is the thing, that nobody has anything to offer. And you know what? Sometimes I'm like, I bet I could become a very popular national political figure and change this whole country in ways that you couldn't even imagine right now, even if you had AGI and also you took medication that gave you crazy dreams. But I'm having too much fun doing the show. That's just what it is. I'm having too much fun doing the show. The Belden program, I think, would change everything. But these people, there's just...
One last thing I'll say is that I think it's tempting, and I often feel this way, and I have in the past, to have a kind of thermostatic theory of politics, which is like saying that like huge pushes are going to get met with big pulls, and there's this sort of like tempering stability even in like a really volatile, polarized political arena.
People talk about this even now, about the midterms in 2026.
Yeah, I go back and forth on this. Like, I really do. But I just, I kind of genuinely think the environment has changed, and I'm not so sure anymore.
We have to do what, Liz?
No, I'm not going to say it.
You want us to make a woke ISIS? I've been thinking about this because I do feel like I got a lot of really good feedback on. I didn't get good feedback, but the appellation that people have given to me of woke Hitler has gotten a lot of good feedback, and that's gone a lot.
I bet. I will say
No,
this.
liberal Hitler. I'm not woke. I'm liberal.
Yeah. We were all talking, and you mentioned debothification.
J.D. Vance mentioned debothification.
And I said, that's what J.D. Vance said years ago. And there's a clip of him saying this. Can we play it?
We should seize the institutions of the left and turn them against the left, right? We need like a debathification program, but like a de-wokeification program in the United States, right?
And then, Bryce, what did you say?
I said we need debothification because we need woke ISIS.
Yes.
So we need all of these career civil servants to get out there and to start doing motherfucking healing circle ISIS groups out there. And I think that there will be woke terrorism within our lifetimes. I think that there will be.
That's what they want to do. How can you say that you want to do debothification and not think about ISIS? That's like the whole thing about debothification. It led to ISIS.
Well, it's so funny. The interview that J.D. Vance is giving there is with Jack Murphy on the Manosphere. Jack Murphy...
I'm so fucking sick of these people.
No, but Jack Murphy, first of all, I just knew he was because of the crazy beard, but, podcasting. His guests included Alexander Dugan, Joe Kent, J.D. Vance, Blake Masters, Jack Posobiec, Mike Cernovich, David Rubin, and the Bronze Age pervert. Gay.
Dude,
Lincoln Fellow at the Claremont Institute, all these, and Manosphere.
How are these the people that are ruling us? This is crazy.
In December 2021, it was revealed that Goldman had authored by the way, his real name Goldman, Jack Murphy, real name Goldman. I'm not afraid of me. Why are you afraid of you? Revealed that Goldman had authored a 2015 article detailing his experiences as a voluntary cuckold. He later admitted to producing amateur pornography, performing in homosexual solo acts, as well as scenes with his girlfriend and streaming it on the internet. And then Goldman, under the name of Jack Murphy, launched a wellness alliance called Rebel Health Alliance.
Man, people who fucking...
I think he also inspired a mass shooting at one point.
I cannot believe that people fucking bought into this bullshit.
Oh my God.
I don't know what to say.
In another article from
you
the
did
same
fucking
year,
PR for this shit. Fuck you.
Goldman argued, fuck you, recounted his experience as a cuckold and wrote, I've had sex slaves, little girls, and tied them all up.
Well.
In his own defense, he noted that he had criticized Richard Spencer for his advocacy of a white ethno-state. Yeah, I'm sure you did, John Goldman, better known as Jack Murphy. Give me a break, brother. These people are sick.
I'm so fucking sick of these people.
These people are fucking sick. I'm sick of these people. And I hope that...
I can't believe Elon Musk is the fucking president.
Elon Musk is...
He's not the president. We are now... Okay, I mentioned this. We are now Britain. We have a head of state and a head of government. Newsflash.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the king on the throne. It's golden. Really golden, too, with all of those fucking goblets. And then you've got Elon Musk in charge of the fucking government. Congratulations. The king's two bodies. Here they are. Fucking fat, bloated, greasy as hell.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, my name... by the way, just as a warning, we're not recording next week.
Oh, yeah. We're going on a little break.
We're going on a little break.
None of your business.
None of your business. But
we'll be back.
We got some business to take care of. But because of that, watch out. I'm serious. Watch your fucking back this week because every time we go on break, something crazy happens.
But I hope it does because then we have something to talk about.
I hope it doesn't because then I'm going to be distracted by it.
No, you won't. I won't tell you.
I'm going to find out.
Don't look.
I'm going
Just
to
rely on me for the news.
Okay, I'll rely on you.
Just be like, Liz, what's the news today? And then I will be your ex.
Everything's going really good. We just made peace with everybody. They released a non-addictive.
I'll be like, oh my God, the lady from, what's the movie? Venus Vagina?
Atlanta Perez.
She said something crazy again.
No, but it wasn't her. She was hacked, and it's all good now.
There's
Steve Witkoff's son didn't die in the OxyContin overdose. He's back. They invented time-traveling Narcan.
Yeah, I'll just tell you stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And then you stay off your phone.
Well, how you tell me this stuff? Well, we'll get to that one.
Carrier pigeon.
My name is Braze.
I'm Liz. We are, of course, joined by...
Producer Young Chomsky.
And this is TrueAnon. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.